My boyfriend refused to let me meet his kids. Now I'm rethinking things.
Might not be your boyfriend anymore.
I'm a 34 female who's been in a relationship with my 32 male boyfriend for over 2 years. I have a child from a previous relationship. He has 2 from his, and my child and my boyfriend get along great. But after all this time, I still haven't met his kids, and it's been a real point of frustration for me. By the way, this comes from Bunny Rabbit 3910, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Riley.
And OP says, each time I've asked about meeting them, he's had a different excuse. The first time he said he wasn't sure where they would sleep, and I responded by offering to go half with him on beds for them to go in my spare bedroom. Another time, he said that the timing wasn't right, and I tried to be understanding and suggested that we can plan a date. We can plan a play date out somewhere for all of the children. When he mentioned the long drive being an issue, I started getting frustrated. The drive is 30 minutes. He travels farther for work. And lastly, when he said that he didn't want to deal with his ex's complaints, everything started to click, and I lost it. No matter how I tried to address each excuse, it never seemed to change the outcome. His ex is in a new relationship, and her new partner has already met their kids. Knowing that her boyfriend has been welcomed into that part of their lives just highlights how excluded I feel. I've told my boyfriend how all of this makes me feel like we're not in the same page and that our relationship is stagnant. Knowing all of this, he keeps reassuring me that it will happen eventually, but he never gives a clear timeline. And it's not just about meeting his kids. We're not on the same page about the future either. I want to get married and have another child someday, and while he says that he wants marriage in theory, we never really have a serious conversation about it. As for having another child, he's made it clear that he's not interested, and that's a big deal to me. On top of that, he has child support obligations from his kid's mother, and while I understand that's a financial strain, he's not doing anything to adjust it. He won't talk to his ex about renegotiating, he won't pick up extra work, and I feel like I'm left carrying a lot of the load. So here I am wondering, do I cut my losses and move on, or do I try to be more patient and understanding and see if he'll step up? I'd really appreciate any advice on how to navigate this. And there are some comments, but what would you give to OP?
See if he steps up.
Well, how would he do that?
I don't think that he can in this situation because you already have expectations that he's not meeting, and it's sort of in this weird realm of things of like, I don't know. I think it's a wrap. You can still have patience. You can wait. Put a line in the sand.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of problems where it's like you just kind of need him to change.
Yeah.
For the life that you want, and you know, it's things where you can like talk to him about it, but if he's not going to change it and he doesn't really because he doesn't really understand, he doesn't really see things as an issue, then you can't control that. But we do have some comments. Commenter number 1 says, it sounds like he doesn't want a future with you. Commenter number 2 says, or she's his side piece. OP responds, and this one is downvoted. She says, whoa, hold on. Though I agree he may not have seen a future with me, I was definitely not the side piece, honey. Please do not project that energy on me. We were together nearly every day these last 2 years, except if we had to go to work or if he had his children. Even then, we would be on the phone the entire time he was away. If I was the side piece, there is no way that his main would be okay with him constantly being around me or on the phone with him and not notice or say something. There was no indication of this, so please stop projecting. Commenter number 3 says, cut your losses. You have fundamental differences in the current and further state of the relationship that he has no interest in discussing or changing. He doesn't see a future. You can't make someone want another child. Please move on. Commenter number 4 says, you literally do not share the same goals, or you haven't had a conversation where you both agree on the same plans. There's no real compatibility if your visions for the future don't match. How can you expect reassurance if he doesn't want marriage or kids, hasn't encouraged you to meet his, and isn't planning for the things that you want? Sometimes I wonder, but I don't mean to be rude, but have you considered this? From what you've said, it sounds like he spends time at your house when he isn't busy, but has no intention of doing anything beyond a casual relationship. You let him be around your kids for 2 years without meeting his, and that seems really odd to me. He either doesn't have custody to take them overnight, or he doesn't want it. That is not the behavior of an active dad. You want to marry and have more children with someone who doesn't want those things. This doesn't seem sustainable or real. And that honestly is a good point, that he might just not have custody, because if he also has to pay child support, usually you don't have to pay child support if you like have partial custody, right?
As a parent, you're either paying time or paying money.
Exactly.
And if you ain't paying the time.
Yeah, because she said that he is paying the time. Like, he'll have the kids over, and that's when she doesn't see him, but they're on the phone all the time, I guess. But that could be a perfect time to hide an affair.
Are you smoking? Are you sensing an affair, like a cheating story here?
You're catching a whiff. But we do have an update. 3 days later. So the day after I posted this, me, him, and my child went to one of his family gatherings. Usually I don't bring my child because it's normally for adults only, but I didn't have anyone who could watch my baby for me. He called one of his family members and asked if any other children were going to be there. And get this, his oldest child was going to be there, and he wasn't aware of this. Long story short, we went to the gathering. I met his child, and to be expected, it was awkward as heck, but I did my best to try to interact as much as I could. I felt good about the encounter, and I couldn't wait to meet his youngest child. On the way home, we talked about it, and he let it slip how crazy it was that she was there. He just said that he was just talking to one of his family members about how I haven't met his kids and why. He admitted to this family member that he was intentionally dragging his feet, but wouldn't tell me more than that or why.
Because you're going to find out he's a bad dad.
This is crazy. He's telling you, like, yeah, I was telling my family member that I was dragging my feet on purpose for this, but that was crazy that we met her. It's like, okay, why? Tell me. Like, does he just avoid the question if you ask? Because I'm sure OP has asked. When I tell y'all, that pissed me off till no end, but I didn't say anything. I stewed over this information on top of everything else that I told you, the lack of being on the same page as far as the future. I came to the decision that I wanted it to be over, so I ended it. He told me that he hasn't done anything. I filed for custody and other things that I suggested because, quote, if I left today or tomorrow, he would have to face the consequences and I could go out and live my life. I thought that I was making a mistake breaking up with him, but once he said that, I knew I made the right decision. So thank you so much for the advice. I completely appreciate it. And there are some relevant comments, but what do you think about that?
His actions make so much more sense now.
Yeah.
Why you don't want to meet the kids.
Right.
There's certain things he says.
Yeah, cause usually like if you have kids with a past partner and you have a new partner, you would usually want to, you'd want to be pretty serious with them before they're introduced to the kids. And maybe OP didn't need things to be as serious before introducing her kids to him, because they've been together for a couple years.
Yeah.
And it seems like for those 2 years the kids met him. And it depends on the age of the kids too. I feel like that does depend on it. But usually that's still the case. So it's possible that they just didn't have the same idea on that. And, if it's only been 2 years, maybe he just at this point was just like, yeah, it's just I don't think it was really going to work out. But like maybe, so I'll still hold on. But yeah,
Cool.
That sucks. But there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, you were a placeholder. I'm sorry, but I'm glad you ended it. Opie says, you saying that really hurts my feelings, but thank you nonetheless. I appreciate your input. Commenter number 2 says, you can just find someone else on the same page as you with regards to that topic at hand. I know, easier said than done, but this isn't changing. This isn't a fix-it thingy. Opie says, I'm realizing that now. I hope I can find someone on the same page as me. And you will, Opie. But commenter number 3 says, not wanting a child should have been a deal breaker. That alone meant that you weren't compatible, but the rest is just weird. If you weren't in the car, he probably would have had someone remove the child from the party, lol. He's a loser, and I avoid dating single dads, even as a single mom, because of stuff like this. There is a reason that the mother of his kids decided raising 2 kids alone was better than doing it with him, and he showed you for 2 years why. OP responds, and this is also downvoted, not defending him, but he broke it off with her. When she found out about me, she did not take it well at all. From that point on, she made sure to make both of our lives a living heck. Once he saw that, it's like our relationship got put on hold. I tried helping out, but he wouldn't take it. Commenter number 4 says he didn't want to file for custody of his own kids because he couldn't guarantee that you would raise them for him. Yeah, that's wild too. That's actually a good point. Because, yeah, wouldn't you still want to, maybe file for custody anyway?
At least a little fight for him, at least.
Because it sounds like she maybe was suggesting that so it's like, more comfortable for her to meet them. But, if he doesn't want to do that anyway, that's not...
Slimy, man. That just makes me want to crawl in my skin.
Yeah. Yeah. What a effing irresponsible man. OP says, didn't think of it that way. Commenter number 5 says, if I left today or tomorrow, he would have to face the consequences and I could go out and live my life. Not being shady, but what else could this have meant, girl? It sounds like he would only file if he had a free babysitter, which is kind of wild. OP says, I was more focused on him getting his stuff and leaving without it turning into a conflict. At that specific moment, I interpreted that to mean you weren't worth me dealing with consequences that will come from her, if that makes sense. That's why I appreciate all your perspectives, because y'all are on the outside looking in and much more clear-headed than I am right now. And that is the end of that story.
I went to therapy for weeks and still came home to my husband's mess.
Maybe your husband needs some therapy.
Hi. So I, 27 female, and my husband, 33 male, have been married for 7 years already. We have 2 kids, a girl, 3, and a boy, 5. He works 40 hours a week while I work 32 hours a week. He dresses the kids, brings them to childcare, and makes them ready for bed before putting them to sleep. I handle the household chores, cooking, and laundry. He helps me sometimes, but only if I ask. He walks the dog in the morning, and I walk the dog in the evening. By the way, this comes from Just Mitsu, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I am Matt.
I'm Carly.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here giving good advice goofily. We don't have all the answers, though. We only know what we would do in these situations. So let us know what you would do in the comments. It was always like that, and I never had any issues until I went to a therapeutic center with our 2 kids for 3 full weeks. While I was gone, I asked him to do 3 normal chores: clean the toilet, send a package back, and clean the laundry in our kids' room. He didn't do any of that. I completely lost it and went mad, but he said he did so many things, like cleaning out the garden from stones, even though those stones would be collected in January. His work wasn't even necessary. He told me I should appreciate that he does household stuff and that it's my fault I went to a therapeutic center. He said I could have stayed with the kids and he could have taken care of them like always. He told me I suck at communicating because I'm tired of telling him what to do. After a few arguments, I flipped and told him I'd rather not have come back home. Now he's gone on a work trip and I'm alone with the kids, cleaning up after the mess from the 3 weeks I was gone. Now the question is, am I the a-hole? And what should I do after he comes back? There's an edit. I'm not a native English speaker, and I thought that health resort was the correct term. But in Germany, it's called Munderkindkur. I went to a therapeutic retreat because I was overloaded with everything. Am I the a-hole has no consensus, but OP received mixed reactions, but heavily leaning towards not the a-hole. Editor's note: posting in comments helped clarify what OP was trying to explain about the therapeutic center. Commenter: OP, are you in Germany? And was this a Mutterkindkur? Because people are going to see the word resort and misunderstand it. It's not a resort in the sense that they're thinking. It's more like a parent rehab for moms who are at the end of their tether. There are usually different kinds, usually in quiet rural areas where you have individual and group therapy, even family therapy. They have childcare while you attend sessions. Sometimes they have spa-like activities for stress management. For example, I had a friend who went to one because of her kids had terrible allergies, constant rashes, and sleepless nights. She had 4 other kids and was burnt out. The center specialized in helping children like her son, and she got help for her stress while they figured out the allergy issue, all in a supportive professional environment. It's also like at the end of her rope, so maybe things at home are not as great as she's
It's like, come on,
saying.
dude. You know that your wife is going to a retreat because she's so stressed.
Right.
The kids are with her, so you are also having some sort of reprieve from
Yeah,
taking
you're not
care
even
of all
dealing
the
with your
kids.
kids.
And you still can't do 3 things.
Couldn't even do one thing.
One of which was just returning a package, which would have been a one and done situation.
You're out doing
Also-
errands anyway.
And also, once you did the kids' clothes, the kids aren't with you. So that's
Yeah.
another one and done thing.
Yeah.
They're not going to be wearing them. You don't need to wash them multiple times.
If you don't want to
And then
touch the
clean
toilet, just
toilets.
hire someone to do it.
You could have hired someone for all of those things.
Yeah. LP responds to a downvoted comment saying her husband can choose his own chores. I understand your point if I wanted him to do things that aren't necessary, but he had a full 22 days to do the things that needed to be done. During those 22 days. He worked normally, drank with family on 2 weekends, and spent the rest of the time sitting and playing PC games. Do you know how long it took me to scrub the toilets? The package can't even be returned anymore. I'm overloaded with household stuff because now there's even more after those 3 weeks. Comment 1. So you had a 3-week holiday and came home to give him crap for not doing chores that made no difference. Congrats on being the world's most self-centered a-hole.
Did make a difference, and now she's unable to do one of the things.
Yes, but also, like, he had 3 weeks to do 3 chores. That's 1 chore a week.
Yeah, and what Patria B says, he could have done all 3 on day 1 and then been good for all the week.
I don't know if 3 weeks with 2 kids in a small room 24/7 can be considered a holiday while I went to recover. The kids and I got sick for 2 weeks. I couldn't leave the room because of a 3-day quarantine. Meanwhile, he drank for 2 days, worked normally, and played PC games most of the time. I think he had more of a holiday than I did. Asking him for 3 simple tasks was apparently too much. LP's reason for attending the therapeutic center. Work overload. Kids overload because they hate each other, so they're just normal kids. Family overload since they live nearby, and small mental issues that built up over the years. You either take the kids with you or leave them at home. He wanted to work and said I should take the kids, so I couldn't really recover. But I could form a better bond with them since I had more time with them and no work. LP gives an example of the childcare duties. The kids dress themselves. I pick out their clothes for childcare because he would dress them too lightly for this weather. They dress themselves at bedtime. He brushes their teeth and reads them a story. That's it. I pick them up from childcare, go grocery shopping with them, take the oldest to soccer every Friday, and bring the 3-year-old to music school every Wednesday. I also play with them after doing housework. Okay, so husband doesn't do anything. He's like, hey, let me do the fun chores, like brushing your teeth.
That's
and,
what
and
at the
reading
beginning when you
stories.
were like, this seems really even split. The only reason that I thought it might not be, besides the fact that she was like, and I have to ask him sometimes, is that he seemed to get the, like, he comes home from work and then his, like, tasks are to hang out with his kids.
I mean, I suppose it depends on, like,
and it's like, that's
how your kids
I
are.
would think that would be a fun task.
It depends on how your kids, like, if the kids were, like, monsters, then...
Yeah, but he's only got to handle them till bedtime.
Yeah, you're right. I got you.
I don't know. Have fun with your kids, guys. Hang out with them.
I'm changing my opinion on this now.
I mean, yeah,
You're right,
there was
Carly.
a lot of more things to get you there too. This dude doesn't sound the best.
I was in the wrong. I admit it. This guy sucks. This guy's awful. OP explains the chores she asked him to do. I told him the things I wanted done while I was gone. He did nothing and said I shouldn't treat him like a slave because I asked for a few things. He also said I should tell him if I need help and he'll do it. So yeah, I'm mentally pretty down. She asked.
Right.
And you didn't do it.
He's like, just ask me for anything you need, babe. I got it. She's
Except
like, hey,
that and that.
only 3 things. And he's like, actually, that's a lot, and you shouldn't ask that of me.
OP responds to a comment about her husband's mental load. I know he also has his own mental load, and we've already had fights in his eyes. He does everything, and I only do what's needed.
That's crazy.
Why should I value work that everyone needs to do, like cleaning the laundry or the toilet? I don't get a thank you every time I do those things. It's just necessary for a clean home. If we divorced, he'd have to keep it clean or risk losing custody. During the 3 weeks I was gone, he could play games until 3 or 4 a.m., but doing small chores was too much. He even said I treat him like a slave for asking for the bare minimum he can't even provide. Also, the stones he moved would have been cleared out in January anyway. He just moved them from the backyard to the front yard. Did OP's husband have other priorities? He at least vacuumed every now and then. I never said his priorities were wrong, but moving stones from one side of the garden to another makes no sense when they'll be picked up soon. There were days when he stayed up playing games until 3 or 4 a.m. I could see him online on WhatsApp. This isn't the first time his priorities have been strange. He likes tinkering with PCs, and often when the kids are about to go to bed, he suddenly starts taking one apart. When I'm putting the kids to bed, he gets upset because he says he would have done it right away. He could easily do those things after the kids are asleep. We fought about this before. It got better for a few weeks, but then got worse again. He has no other tasks. I never asked him to clean the entire house, just those 3 specific things. I know he never cleans the full bathrooms or windows. I would have done everything else when I came back. Doing just those few chores would have helped with my workload. I didn't explain the whole conversation, But basically, he told me I shouldn't come back with that attitude. I was really mad and said, yeah, I'd rather not have come back. Update from 10.5 months later. So after a year, I just wanted to share what's happened and how it's going. After he came back from his business trip, he brought me flowers and chocolate. We sat down together and I openly addressed all the issues that had been eating away at me over the past few years. He also brought up the things that had bothered him. I also told him that if we didn't work on a relationship, separation would be my only option, and that if he didn't improve his attitude toward hygiene, I wouldn't want the children to stay with him if we separated. He was immediately very eager and wanted us to get to work on things right away. So we allowed ourselves a quiet phase for 2 months. We lived in the same house, but slept in separate bedrooms. We also set up a detailed plan for each week about who would do what, and each of us got our own free time while the other took care of the kids. By the way, in your free time, you can listen to full episodes just like this one. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever platform you like to listen to your podcast on and search OK Storytime. I have to say, it's only been going uphill since then.
Okay.
We haven't argued as much, and if we did, it was only about minor things. There were no big fights anymore. He really started to take care of things that had bothered me and now takes his own initiative around the house. I hardly have to tell him anything anymore. Of course, some things have stayed the same, and I still clean some things myself because he simply doesn't see those as a priority. But I'm glad that in the end, things have turned out well. And there are some comments. OP on what rules she made after the original post and how she and her husband decide on this. We set ourselves a rule that we will talk daily about our life and our feelings. We also ate together as a family at least 2 times a week. But other than that, no, we just did stuff for ourselves and with the kids.
I mean, yeah, sounds like it's great that it's going back uphill. I think that if it continues on this path, you could maybe then start to reintroduce the other things back into your life if you want to, like between the two of them as a couple kind of thing. But for now, that seems to have solved a whole bunch.
Our family vacation is being ruined because of our daughter's schedule.
Well, maybe she's just a busy person.
My husband and I have been planning a trip to Mexico for 2 years now. We had everything booked in 2024, but our 20-year-old daughter, Kayla, wound up having senior exams that week, so we had to cancel and try to reschedule. Our reschedule credit only lasts until June of 2026. By the way, this comes from Emergency Cap 3855, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, every time we float dates, 3 of our 4 kids, all adults, tell us that whatever dates we book, they will work with. It is always Kayla that has conflicts, school, sports, work. There's always something. I finally put my foot down and scheduled for end of May, literally 1 week before our voucher expires. I looked at her school schedule online and classes end a week before. I texted all the kids and told them they're all good and going to request time off, except Kayla. She said that even though school ends, her league sports do not end until June. She also said she's jumping right into summer work and already committed to starting that work. Her father and I told her we understand, we're sorry that she had to miss it, and maybe we'll figure something else out with her just when she graduates and her schedule becomes less chaotic. Apparently, she was not expecting this response and is upset that we are still planning on going without her.
All right. Girly Pop, you can't have it both ways,
Girly,
okay?
that's it. I'm sorry. They tried many times to reschedule, and you can't do it, and their voucher expires. She said that we cannot have a family vacation without the whole family. But my other kids are rightfully angry with her for trying to prevent them from going on vacation just because she does not want to make the time for it. She would not lose her summer job by starting a week later. She comes and goes during breaks. It is a family-owned store, so the owner just throws her on the schedule when she says she's available. If we do not go, we lose around $2,000 that we prepaid for our original vacation, and our other kids will be pissed. So the thing here that we got is either you lose $2,000 and your 2 other kids will be mad, or 1 child will be mad, and that's it. If we do go, then I'm going to feel guilty and like a crap parent for not having all my kids there. I feel like I'm in a lose-lose situation. My husband says I need to let it go. Parents go on trips all the time without their kids once they're adults. But it is the fact that 3 out of 4 will be there that bothers me. Am I the a-hole for still planning the vacation without Kayla? No. No, you're not. And there are comments, but what do you think?
No, you're not.
No.
She's just being a brat.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry she can't go. It sucks. You tried to schedule her in. She didn't want to, either she can't or she didn't want to schedule around it. So that's it.
Yeah.
Comment 1, getting adult children lined up for vacation can be like herding cats. You have given Kayla multiple dates and she has shot every option down. Bottom line is you'll lose your deposit if you do not go at some point, and you have left it until the last possible moment. At this point, it is a her problem, not a you problem. If she wants to overcommit, then she has to accept that she's going to miss out sometimes. I hope the rest of you have a terrific time in Mexico. Maybe she'll make time for the next one. Comment 2 says, when she hears afterwards that it turned out to be a good trip, she may be more open to making time for family gatherings. Maybe she really does not want to go for some reason, and that's why she keeps throwing up objections. You have done as much as you can to accommodate her, and she's not cooperative. As you said, her siblings are getting resentful that she's blocking their vacations as well. You made a good offer to do something with just her when she can find or make some time. Since the trip is not until next spring, maybe she will change her mind and decide to join you. Leave that option open. Either way, you have done what you can. Go as planned and have a great time. And there is an edit. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's just like a classic case of like one person being like, well, no, I'm the one who's important, and if I'm not there, why would you guys even want to do anything at all, ever?
You guys don't even exist outside of me.
This is just a good opportunity for Kayla to learn the lesson that, like, yeah, the world doesn't only revolve around you, you know?
Thank you for all the kind words and the swift punt to the butt to remind me that I also need to be fair to my other kids. Those who said Kayla is the youngest were spot on. She's always been a little spoiled. It's not just me and her father who catered to her, though. Her brothers and sisters did too, because she's always been the baby. She tends to dictate a lot of what we do, like restaurants for family dinners or when we do holiday stuff. Even now, they're really sad she cannot come and trying to reassure her that missing practices and a game is not the end of the world. But they're also relieved that I'm not changing my mind so we can actually go. It has opened my eyes to a couple things, like a remodel we have been putting off because it would eliminate Kayla's room, even though she has a year-round apartment off campus. She likes to sometimes come home and stay the night. Her school is a little less than an hour away, but we still have a guest room that all the kids can use if they want to stay over. She can start using that too. She also got back to me last night and said she can do spring break in March. I told her that does not work for me because I have surgery the week before and the recovery is 2-ish weeks. It is minor but abdominal, so I definitely would not be recovered enough to go on a hiking excursion and walking long periods. By the way, you can listen to us for long periods if you go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, your youngest daughter's a bit of a brat.
But she'll learn.
Yeah, she's still young.
I don't think this is like she sucks, get rid of her, send her to the orphanage, she's done. I think this is just like, tell her what's happening, and she'll get over it.
If I was a sibling, I'd be so annoying. I'd be like, every photo that we take on the vacation, if she doesn't end up coming, every photo we take on the vacation, I like Photoshop a picture of her head with a little stick figure body on it.
I like that. She claims she did not know that, even though it was discussed in our family group chat as dates that were not available when we were working on nailing down schedules. I totally, however, do understand if she didn't know that because she probably may have not have read that. Because I know
I don't know how to read.
I know I don't read everything in the family group chat.
Might not be reading.
She might not be at reading level. So I am seeing where I rank in priority in her life right now. It's okay. I was 20 and in college once too, so I do get it. But the dates are final, and if she cannot come, then she cannot come. I'll miss her, but I'm going to make the best of it with the kids who are there. Flights have not been booked yet. I'm going to give it until after the new year since we have lots of time. If she still cannot make it work by the time I book them, then it is what it is. And that's true. And that's just how it is. But that's the end of that story.
My sister expected to live rent-free in my house after refusing to help.
And I bet you live rent-free in her head now.
Ooh, a little backstory. I, 27 female, married my husband, 32 male. We have 2 kids, 11 female and 2 male. 2 years ago, I asked my little sister, who was 20 at the time, and will turn 22 in a month, to come live with us and help out with the kids as I needed. She was in a bad relationship and needed a place to stay. At first, it was for her to get back on her feet since she was getting out of the situation. And by the way, this comes from user GladPrize5340. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we do, so tell us what you would do down in the comments. The initial agreement was that we would pay her $200 per week to watch our 4-month-old at the time, Monday till Friday, 6:30 to 2 p.m. She could use my car anytime she needed, and she wanted an afternoon job, which was totally fine. She happily accepted. A month later, she told us she was getting depressed being inside every day and that she couldn't do this anymore. I told her that was okay. Her mental health was very important, but she should still be able to watch the kids when we needed her to, like on date nights. So we found someone else to watch our kid. Fast forward 2 years later, she works full time, doesn't pay any bills, and doesn't help around the house. Not even washing dishes, taking out the trash, cooking dinner, or buying groceries. Like things the house needs. She provides no help at all. Last week, my husband and I went out for a bit. Mind you, we asked her the weekend before if she could watch the kids, and she said yes. Within an hour of us being out, my husband and I received this message from her. I just wanted to say this to get this off my chest. This isn't an attack, and this isn't me being ungrateful. I just want you guys to try to consider my point of view. My point of view is that I don't appreciate being used as a service whenever it's convenient for y'all. I understand this is all I'm good for, but there are some days where I don't want to come home after a 9-hour shift and watch a baby. I didn't decide to have children, you guys did. The only person who ever appreciates me for it and only thanks me for it is my husband. So it has been building up inside me and causing resentment that my own sister will refuse to recognize my accomplishments because it's what I'm supposed to do. I appreciate staying here rent-free and have appreciated the opportunity being given to me, but I don't feel like I should dedicate my life to you guys. It feels like now I'm being asked to watch the kids like it's already a given and that it's not something I can ever say no to. When I do say no, I'm treated like Voldemort. It feels like an obligation when it should feel like a choice. I felt like the time frame should have been more discussed because I was under the impression I was watching him until 6:30, not 9:30. Thank you again for taking the time to read this. And again, I'm not attacking. I just want to ask for more clarity. Hey, silly, just saying the words "I'm not attacking you" and then attacking them doesn't mean you didn't just attack them.
Yeah.
You said you felt like Voldemort.
I'm also kind of, though, like, low-key, I want more information about what that agreement looked like.
Well, I mean,
Because-
you've already had the deal has been modified where it was like, at first you were watching them all the time and you go, hey, I can't do this. I need more time. I want to go outside. I want less response. And she goes, okay, we'll figure it out. We'll find someone else to watch our kid all week.
Like, why didn't we just have a conversation like that again? My thing is, like, the only way that I'd ever be like, okay, maybe the sister has, like, some, like, correct means, and I don't think she does, is, like, genuinely, if you guys had agreed on 6:30 and you're not coming back till 9:30, that's effed up.
So at this point, that is all she's good for, watching the kids for us for a few hours once or twice a week. The accomplishment she is referring to is getting her high school diploma at the age of 21 because she dropped out a few months before graduating. She still uses my car when needed to go to her boyfriend's house or work. At this point, I am fed up and can't take it anymore. My husband tells me she's my sister and I need to handle it because he's tired of taking care of a grown adult. So would I be the a-hole if I asked her to leave my house and she refuses to watch the kids when needed? And there are comments, but first, I'd just like to say, this whole deal was contingent upon her helping you with the kids.
Right. If she's not going to do that, yeah, get her out.
So I think you can go back and say, hey, this situation is no longer what we had agreed upon. Let's get back to a place that works for both of us, or you're going to have to start helping with the bills around here. Koi Fishy Fishy says, not the a-hole. Here's what you say. It sounds like this arrangement is no longer working for everyone involved, and it's time for you to find other housing. Living rent-free for 2 years while she works full-time means she should have some savings. If she doesn't, that is on your sister. Give her a written notice to vacate with the number of days required by state and or local laws, and she's considered a tenant. Love Lola Hart says, this is the direction I would go. See how much time you're required to give her as notice and ask her to move out by that date with written notification. And if any family members complains about family, Tell them that they're welcome to house her
Right.
for 2 years rent and chore free as well. Talk to me 0701 says not the a-hole. She says it's a given she'll watch the kids, even though you hired a nanny so she wouldn't have to watch the kids. She has enjoyed your largesse for long enough. Just don't frame it as a punishment. Tell her you're glad you were there for her when she needed it, and after thinking about her text, you can't have her feeling used. You'd like to give her 2 months to find her own place unless she'd like to leave immediately. Put it in writing and don't back down. Don't go back and forth over what was agreed and whether or not you're angry. She doesn't deserve your energy. She's an ungrateful booty butt who has started to not just take it for granted, but is trying to drive a wedge between you and your husband. Only he thanks me, according to her. No, this will not do, OP. She's a drain on your resources, both emotionally and financially. Let her go somewhere. She'll get all the appreciation she thinks she deserves. Ditch digger girl. Yes, this is good. Any discussion of emotions would immediately be met with, you're absolutely right. We have both been getting increasingly frustrated, and we really should not have let this get this far. I'm happy we were able to give you these last 2 years to build up your savings, but I love you too much to let our relationship get strained any further.
Ooh.
Judgment, not the a-hole. And honestly, like, I get it. Yeah, that little, super genius crafted comment right there is going to deteriorate the relationship.
Yeah.
Because it's obvious.
I like the phrasing of like the first, or I think maybe the second commenter's suggestion, and then that one though, like kind of mix it in where it's like, yeah, things aren't working anymore. We're not holding up bargain parts. And because of that, like, and because I'm hoping to save anything we have, like, I am going to give you notice, like, you should move out kind of thing. Like, and that might not do anything.
Yeah.
It might still ruin your relationship. But I feel like adding some bit of like, and it's because I care about you. It's because I love you. Like, but like, we need distance kind of thing.
Thank you, everyone, for your inputs. That definitely helped me make the right decision for my family. Like many of you suggested I sat her down, and I did apologize for not showing any appreciation and the fact that she felt used. And I also pointed out that her watching the kids once or twice a week, it was never last minute, is her only way of contributing to the house. And of course, like many of you predicted, she started yelling that I am attacking her and that I only took her out of the situation to benefit me and not her. I did confirm that the previous agreement was something I thought would benefit both of us, not just me. I told her since this new living arrangement is not working for anyone at this point, and since she doesn't want to watch the kids, she has 60 days to find better living arrangements. She stated she never said she didn't want to watch the kids, and I cut her off, stating that as her older sister, I don't want to ruin our relationship, so it's best for her to find another place to live. She immediately tried to backpedal.
Immediately was like, wait, I'll watch them though.
Yeah, no, wait. I never said I wouldn't. I just said I really don't like it and that you're abusing me and that I feel like I'm being used. Because her feeling appreciated or not being used, her mental health is very important and it does matter. I even apologize for treating her as my own child, like taking care of her, taking her to all our family vacations for free. I really thought I was helping her, but now I realized I was hurting her. And now she has a great opportunity to grow and live the life she wants to. By the way, we live in San Diego, California. Minimum rent for one bedroom is $2,000. I wish her the best of luck. And there are some comments. How did she react to this? Says KM Flushing. OP says she started crying and said this wasn't her intentions for things to get way out of hand. And I told her, we can't go back. Everyone needs to move on. Van Driesen says her actions met consequences and she realized she overplayed her hand. Good for you. That was the perfect response. Your sister will face the real world and enjoy her life like she wanted. And Aid Lucas says, I just read your previous post. She's just upset her free ride is over. Don't put a penny into the house, so her money is her own. Doesn't lift a finger to help with chores. Complains when she's asked to watch the kids a couple days a week. She's had 2 years of free accommodation and full maid service with free vacations thrown in. No wonder she's backtracking and doesn't want to leave. Chances are she's not saved a cent from the 2 years of free housing. The term homosexual springs to mind. And that is the end of that story.
Wow.
There you go. Standing on business. And you go, hey, it's okay. You're going to thank me for this one day. Probably. I know you're upset now.
I asked my brother-in-law to leave my kid's party because he's acting rudely.
Well, yeah, I would too.
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, for some background, me, 40 female, My hubby, 53 male, my sister, 37 female, and brother-in-law, 36 male, have had a good relationship over the past few years. There was a falling out when I was pregnant with my youngest, now 5 female, between my husband and sister over a difference of opinions on school lockdown rules at the time. This all played out on our family WhatsApp chat, and neither would back down. Sister was incorrect, but she refuses to ever apologize or accept when this is the case. By the way, this comes from Nice Introduction 480, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. This is not the first time this has happened. My sister is the youngest of 3. I am the oldest, and she always had a weird competition with me in her own head. Our parents' words, not mine. She has a lot of health issues and can have depressive periods. I've always tried my best to support and care for her when I can. This issue was eventually forgotten when she announced she was pregnant, when my daughter was a month old, and we all tried to move past things for the sake of the kids. Fast forward to now. I have 2 children. Male 8, who is autistic, and female 5. And she has 1, female 4. The girls are best friends and love playing together, and we try to have them over as much as life allows. The 3 of them are currently staying with my parents as they are planning on buying a house, so had given up their rented flat. But it is taking a bit longer than anticipated. Now for the drama. On Halloween, my favorite time of year, I decided to host a party for my kids, niece, and 9 of their friends at my home. I had been planning and making homemade games, snacks, and treat bags for 5 weeks, and my kids were very excited. On the day of the party, one of my son's friends came round early, male 8, so his mom could take his younger brother to another party before then coming back to our house for ours. They mostly spent time in my son's room playing Roblox and chatting to friends. The party was due to start around 5-ish, and my brother-in-law and niece arrived around 30 minutes earlier than everyone else, without my sister. She had unfortunately taken unwell and would not be coming to the party. This is not unusual and happens quite often for family events. She hadn't come out trick-or-treating the previous night either. I was preparing the buffet in the kitchen with the help of my older niece, female 15, while my husband was in the living room. The rooms are next to each other, which is important as I can hear almost everything through the wall. With the 2 boys, my daughter, niece, and brother-in-law. They were all playing music and running around excited for the rest of the party guests to arrive. Unbeknownst to me, my husband had asked the boys to calm down a bit as they had bumped into the girls by accident while playing with balloons. He then left the room to go to the garage to collect pizzas from the freezer for me. My older niece walked into the living room to check on things for me, and at that time, my brother-in-law shouted very aggressively and loudly at the 2 boys to give it a rest and calm down. I ran through from the kitchen and asked what happened, to which my brother-in-law responded in the same angry tone that the boys had hurt my younger niece and daughter and were out of control. He then shouted at my niece to come to him until he inspected her neck for marks. The boys were crying and terrified, looking in the hallway by this point, and told me it was an accident and they had only bumped into the girls while playing. This was witnessed by older niece, who confirmed it was an accident and said my brother-in-law overreacted. Neither of the girls were upset, and my daughter told me they hadn't meant it. I asked everyone to be more careful as we had a lot of kids arriving soon, checked the girls were okay, and went back to the kitchen. The boys headed back upstairs to my son's room. After this, people started to arrive, and my son came back downstairs to say his friend was very upset and scared and wanted his mom. My husband took over the food, and I headed to check on the boys just as his mom and younger brother arrived. I asked her to come upstairs with me, explain the situation, apologized as I didn't agree with the overreaction from my brother-in-law, but I tried to put it down to stress from my sister being unwell. She was okay about it all and went to talk to her son to see if we could calm him down a bit. I went downstairs to greet everyone else and attempted to start the first party game. When my friend and her son came downstairs and she explained they were going to take 5 minutes outside, as he was too scared to go into the living room while my brother-in-law was still there. All the adults were staying for the party as well. Your brother-in-law traumatized this freaking little boy?
I know, just over like a complete accident.
Like literally probably like pushed her down by accident. If the 2 young girls are saying, oh yeah, it was an accident, I'm fine, then they're definitely fine. Because kids overreact as much as possible.
Oh, for sure.
I got all the kids sat on the floor while trying to still calm my son down. He had been having crying and meltdown episodes over the shouting, his friend being upset, and then everyone arriving and being loud. Just then, my friend and her son came back inside and said they were just going to go head back home as she couldn't convince him to come into the living room while brother-in-law was there and she didn't want to cause any fuss for the party. This is very unusual behavior for her son, as he's normally very outgoing and confident, but you could see how upset and frightened he was. Meanwhile, my son was getting upset over the thought of one of his best friends leaving when the party had only started 15 minutes prior. She managed to get her younger son in the hall, while I tried to convince them to stay while I thought of a solution. My brother-in-law had been sat at the far end of the living room and mouthed, "What's wrong?" to me. I went and sat beside him on the couch and explained that my son's friend was terrified of him and the three were going to leave as he wouldn't come into the party while brother-in-law was there. His immediate response was anger and that he wouldn't apologize and had been defending his daughter. I asked if he would consider heading back to my parents' house for a couple hours while leaving my niece, who was quite happily playing with all friends at this point, so that no child would miss out or have to leave. He accused me of punishing him for defending the girls, and that if he left, he would take my niece with him. I asked what he thought I could do, as I was just trying to save the party and find a solution, and that I thought he had overreacted with how loud he had shouted at the boys, and that he was essentially a stranger to my son's friend, and that they were only 8 years old, and accidents were bound to happen, especially when everyone was excited for the party. He told me that he knew fine well what age they were, but didn't care as they were double the size of the girls, and I had to make a choice between him and niece and my friend and 2 sons. The whole talk he had used a very angry, horrible tone when speaking to me, and his threat to make me choose was the last straw. I told him he would not speak to me like that in my own house. He immediately shouted that they were leaving, and I said, "Go then." He then proceeded to push past the children I had gathered for the first game while shouting very loudly, "F this?" He got his shoes on, told my now crying niece in the hallway they were leaving. My friend, who was still in the hallway with her sons, told him they would leave, but he shouted at her that he wouldn't stay anyone. I pleaded for him to leave my niece so she wouldn't miss out, but he roughly grabbed her and carried her crying and screaming from the house. My friend's son had a panic attack. Eventually, we calmed everyone down. I gave the rest of the parents a mini rundown and apologized for the whole situation and language my brother-in-law used in front of the kids. The rest of the party carried on and everyone had a brilliant time. I messaged my mom afterwards to apologize, but that I wouldn't be spoken to that way. He had completely overreacted and that I was sorry all this drama was happening, but I did what I thought was best in the situation. She responded that bridges had been burned, especially as I had asked them to leave. I ended up crying for the rest of the night when it all hit me. I'm not one for sticking up for myself and hate confrontation. The following day, there was little communication from my parents. I asked my aunt to check on my mom, as I knew she would be stuck in the middle. Eventually, that evening, my sister put a message on the family WhatsApp group to say both her and my brother-in-law were leaving the group, that as a family of 3, they would no longer be attending family events such as birthdays, Christmas, and Boxing Day. And after they move into their own house and out of my parents', that contact between them and everyone would be kept to a minimum. She then left every group she was in with me, blocked my number. I did the same with brother-in-law, as I did not trust myself not to message him to ask what the F was going on. The next day, my parents collected my kids from school as usual, and I heard the other side of the story. The night he stormed out, he got back to their house with my very upset niece, and when they asked what was going on, he said to ask their effing daughter that kicked them out of her house. Essentially, his story is that he didn't overreact to the boys, as my husband had already shouted at them to calm down. Again, I did not hear this, but I did hear my brother-in-law shout, and I had then waited for everyone to arrive so there would be an audience. I then screamed at him from the opposite side of the room to get out of my house and threw him and niece out, therefore choosing my friends over family. My sister is not interested in hearing my side of the story. She has not once messaged to ask what happened, and I think that's what hurts more, that she would think I would act like that towards them, especially in front of a room full of children aged 2 to 8 years old and my mom's friends. The whole situation has replayed in my head 1,000 times over what else I could have done. If I had let my friend and her sons leave, then I was letting them miss out on a party they were looking forward to, and almost making them be punished for what was a silly accident to start with. I also could have asked my brother-in-law to leave the room and come into the kitchen to talk to me, but I didn't want him to come into the hallway to go past my friend's son to do this. Plus, I wasn't expecting that sort of reaction either. Myself and brother-in-law have always had a good relationship, and I honestly thought he would say, "Okay, I'll go speak to the boy for scaring him," or offer to head home for the couple of hours. He's not one for joining in party games normally anyway, and I had said at the time of planning they could just drop up my niece and wouldn't need to stay with her. I will say that he definitely does have a bit of a temper at times, though, and there had been more than once I have felt uncomfortable with the loud way he has shouted at my niece, but he's never raised his voice to either myself or my kids before. It's now been 2 weeks. I haven't been round to my parents' house other than to quickly pick something up. I haven't spoken to or seen my niece or sister. I saw my brother-in-law at the school drop-off. My niece's nursery is on the school grounds. And when he saw me and my kids, he looked down, brought out his phone, and ignored us. When we were basically a few feet away from him, I said loudly, but not shouting, "Ignoring your nephew and niece? Really?" He immediately looked at us and shouted that he hadn't seen us. And I kept walking with the kids. My husband has since seen him another morning, and he did acknowledge them that time. The kids are totally innocent in all of this, and I will not have them be ignored in the street by someone they consider to be their uncle. They have been mouthing off to my parents, mostly my sister, about what an awful person I am, and every perceived slight she's ever felt I have done over the years has apparently been brought up. My parents have made it very clear that they are staying neutral and will not take sides, which she isn't happy about at all. Our middle sister and her family are saying the same, though my niece that attended the party is not happy, as he has also claimed she's lying and never witnessed the initial accident. They are having to look for another house to buy as theirs fell through, so have been threatening my parents with moving out of the area to get space and using my niece for their own narrative, claiming she's traumatized. Traumatized from a little boy maybe bumping into her?
Yeah, and she also said earlier that it was an accident. It was fine.
And has asked that her grand doesn't bring the bad boys round there. The whole situation is ridiculous, and I just don't see what the end game is or what he is getting out of lying about this, other than trying to isolate her and my niece from my and her side of the family. They already have cut off most of his family due to different reasons and falling outs. By the way, we don't want to cut you out because we want you to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. My daughter's birthday party is in 2 weeks, and I haven't told her that her cousin won't be coming as I don't want to upset her. My mom has told me that my niece has asked multiple times to come round to my house to see her cousins and me. I'm heartbroken at the thought of them all being kept apart, especially with the kids being less than a year apart. Sorry this was so long, and hopefully I managed to explain everything so it makes sense. Well done if you've made it this far, and thanks in advance for any advice on what I do going forward. So am I the a-hole for asking my brother-in-law to leave my kids' Halloween party? And that's the end of the story.
I don't think you're the a-hole.
No,
I think you wanted,
so.
it was for the kids. You wanted the kids to not miss out, and you wanted them to have fun. It's a
Yeah.
birthday party, you know. You also said the parents don't really need to be there, you know, and he already was starting problems before the party. So it's like, okay, you know what? Like, cool it. Go somewhere else.
I refuse to support my roommate's desire to have kids.
Shouldn't everyone have kids?
I met Amy my freshman year of college. We were roommates and got along great. She was an only child raised by her parents, Andy and Amanda, in a small town a few states away. As we got to know each other, I heard about Ben, who was her best friend. Ben, who was also an only child, grew up next door to her with his parents, Bob and Beth. By the way, this comes from Am I the Crazy One, directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Oh, one of our own.
One of our own, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit, and you can submit your own stories. But I'm Angie,
I'm Riley.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers.
We
just
don't.
know what we would do in these situations. So let us know what you would do in the comments. OP says, their families were super close, and they did everything together growing up. Their families were so close that they even did holidays and family vacations together. She'd often joke that he was almost like her brother, and since Ben was 11 months older than Amy, he really did treat her like little sister, being protective of her and checking in on her and talking regularly.
Aw.
I met Ben the same week I met Amy because he went to a neighboring college in the same city and he came over to visit regularly. He was really nice, and the three of us got along well, and we all would do things together when we weren't in class. Now, Amy and I lived together all through college. Our second year, we moved into an apartment off campus. Ben actually found us the apartment because it was in his building, 2 floors up from his place, that he shared with his roommate, Clint. Their bachelor pad was as you'd expect.
Dirty.
So when
Beer filled.
Probably. So when we moved and we'd all hang out, they'd usually come to our place. We had a great time and made some of the best memories.
All right. I feel like I'm about to do that with a roommate.
Yeah, make all the best memories.
Well, someone's looking for an apartment now. I'm like,
Okay.
yo, we got an apartment in my apartment complex. Just
Yeah.
come check it out.
Yeah. Are they interested?
I think with the amount of rent it costs, it probably would be.
Pretty nice, huh?
Yeah.
At some point, freshman year, Ben asked me out and we went on a few dates. We kissed a couple of times, but there was no chemistry and we mutually decided to continue being friends.
What? You can kiss someone and still be friends with them?
I guess.
Okay.
Why are you interested
Interested in what?
in kissing someone but still being friends with them?
Oh, no, I have kissed someone and we're now just friends. I don't talk. I don't talk to her anymore though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So not Keon then.
Not Keon. No.
Not
no.
Keon. Okay, got it.
Okay, you can do that. I forgot.
But anyway.
Sorry, that must be hard for you.
No, it's
No.
okay. It's okay.
Okay, good.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I was kind of joking.
Oh,
so it's
okay. Me too. Yeah.
Amy was bummed because she thought we made a cute couple, but life went on. I didn't date much because I was focusing on school and seemed to have a problem where I'd get really awkward when I found someone attractive. Ben would date off and on, but nothing was serious enough to stick. Amy casually dated a few guys in college, but they never really went anywhere, and Clint was kind of an F-boy, and we got tired of trying to learn a new girl's name every week, so eventually we created the rule that unless someone's partner/fling had been around for at least a month, the group didn't meet them.
Ooh.
As a result, when we hung out, it was usually just the four of us. It was a perfect setup. There was really no odd wheels or awkward, sorry, what's your name again? Situations.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's nice. I forget people's names so fast.
She does.
I do. I need to meet you like 3 times and have a conversation with you each of those 3 times.
What's my aunt's name?
Which one?
Olivia mom.
Shonda.
Yep. All right. Cool.
Let's go.
And she has met her exactly 3 times.
We didn't see her that last time,
Oh, we
actually.
didn't.
I probably met her maybe 3 times. Eh.
You passed.
Yeah, I passed. I didn't even need to meet her 3 times. I did it. When Ben and Clint graduated, we all went out and made a night of it. There was a nice dinner with all of us and the parents. Clint's parents, Bob, Beth, Andy, and Amanda. Then the 4 of us went out for drinks, dancing, and an after party at our place that included drinking games. Eventually, we ended up playing a combo strip poker / truth or dare game.
Oh, fun.
Nice. Now, I'm pretty sure that if I told you that wasted, half-unclothed college students playing a game of dare ended up turning spicy, you probably wouldn't be surprised, so here we are. It started off pretty innocently, with a kiss here or an embarrassing lap dance there, and then it turned a little less innocent.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Clint was too afraid to go anywhere near Amy because I think he knew that Ben would not approve. Especially with his reputation of running through girls faster than he changed his socks. So Ben and Amy ended up hooking up by the end of the night, and Clint and I did as well.
Wow.
Not innocent at all.
So Ben and Amy did it.
Ben
After
and Amy
all
did
these
it.
years.
Yeah. So Clint stayed away from Amy.
Wow. Okay. Well.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it was bound to happen.
I guess so. Yeah.
You ever watch Friends?
Oh yeah.
This is literally Friends.
True. The next morning, in the sober light of day, we all stumbled into the living room and voted for the guys to grab us breakfast and electrolytes while we picked up the disaster that was our apartment. While cleaning, Amy told me that she and Ben had been up early talking, and they had both had deep feelings for each other, but had always been too scared to cross that line. And now that they wanted to see where it all went.
All right.
Wow. What a funny story to tell someone about how your relationship started.
So we were like brother and sister for most of our lives.
Yeah.
But when we got college,
Yeah.
we hooked up.
We played a game,
Hmm.
and then we boinked.
Now I see why you would be a little cautious about your friend having kids with this guy. Because
I totally forgot that that's what the title said. We haven't even gotten there yet.
because they would have to tell this story of how their parents got married. I would not want to tell that story.
That's true. Then I guess you would just go with the story of how you met, which is probably way more innocent, rather than how you started dating.
Nah, you gotta tell the whole thing.
Not to your children.
Yeah, how else are they supposed to know?
They don't need to know. That's the point. Opie continues. Cool. Great. Congratulations. I was very excited for them. Best friends turning into a relationship. Probably a better basis than, hey, we met at a bar one night. I was a little worried that it would change the group dynamic, but I wasn't about to worry about something that hadn't happened yet. And they both seemed really happy, so I was happy for them. When the guys got back and we were all eating, Ben smiled and asked how my night with the famous Clint went. I giggled and said that it was fine, but that I could see why he didn't have many repeat dates. Oh, wow.
Oh no, he's a one-trick wonder.
Oh, no. Then I felt bad when Clint asked what I meant with a rather sad/hurt look on his face. Oh, man.
Dude, Loki, Clint, I feel like you need the feedback. So
Yeah.
let's take this with a gracious heart.
Yeah, I think if he's been going through girls, but he's not meaning to, then yeah, he's going to need to know why.
Oh, it was the thumb thing. Oh, okay.
Oh, God. You don't need to do that.
So with the thumb thing.
No, you don't need. Don't go into details.
That's whenever you
I'm
put
gonna
the
read
thumb.
OP's. I pointed out that while the intimate stuff was pretty mind-blowing, both the night before and that morning, heyo, he then gave me a high five and said, "Good game," before getting redressed and looking for breakfast.
Bro.
Which left the encounter a little awkward and reminded me that I was one of many, making it an experience that I wasn't longing to repeat.
Oh, it's because when he was practicing with his boys, that's what he would do at the end.
With his voice. Yeah, definitely.
So he's just not romantic.
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, okay.
And maybe that romance is what would keep someone there longer.
And he knows that, and he feels like if he is romantic with someone, they might stay longer. And he's not ready.
Riley's posing for a book cover right now.
My smart readers, how was that?
Let
Would
us
you
know.
buy that cover? How smart readers, how important is the cover of the book?
Let us know. He was pretty quiet for a while, but we eventually talked one-on-one. Apparently, he had liked me for a long time, but felt awkward talking about it because he knew how people looked at him, and he had panicked in the morning because he wasn't sure how I felt about it. Then he asked if he could take me on a real date with no expectations of how it would end, and that he'd be a perfect gentleman. And he was. Let me cut to the chase. We are now married and have 3 kids with a 4th on the way. What?
What is happening here?
What? I'm sorry.
Are we watching a movie right now?
You sure did cut right to the chase.
Holy cow.
That was a lot more cutting than I thought was going to happen.
He was just looking for the right girl, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
This happens, though. This happens.
It totally does.
Wow.
Like,
Okay.
it's a good thing, but that was a way bigger jump than I thought it was going to be.
I didn't think Clint, who never changes his socks, would marry you and have kids with you.
Sure.
He doesn't change his socks.
That's not quite what was said.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. So
He hooks up with girls more times than he changes his socks.
it just shows you how many girls he's getting with.
Or how often he changes his socks.
Okay, that's true. That's true. If he never changes his socks, he's the urgin Mary.
No, he's got to have one down.
But what
He's
if
got to have 2.
But
He's got to have 2.
I'm saying if he never changes his socks.
I'm
Oh
not
my
getting
God.
into this.
Whatever. After the guys graduated, they got jobs nearby, and as we paired off, there was eventually a shuffling of apartments. I moved in with Clint, and Ben moved in with Amy. Our final year of college was a blast, and as our graduation came, we made plans for another big family dinner, and then we all planned a short vacation to Mexico. Wow.
Oh, this is so fun.
This is so fun. We're also not even halfway through this story, by the way. So
there's time for everything to crash.
yeah, sadly. So graduation comes. We walk across the stage. We do all the pictures and things. But before one of the pictures, Ben gives Amy a hug and kiss. Click, click, pictures taken. But the parents get really quiet. The entire atmosphere changed in an instant. Now, Amy and Ben hadn't told their parents that they had been dating for the last year because they wanted to see how things went and enjoyed the privacy of their relationship before bringing their families into it.
Oh, because being in that college bubble's nice.
And OP continues, because they had been raised together and their parents were all best friends, they didn't want to let them in on what was going on until they knew the relationship would work out.
Okay. Conspiracy theory?
Okay.
Their parents were swingers. That's actually his sister.
I hope that's not true.
Well, why do they always go on family vacations together?
For their fams are besties. That's what would happen with this couple, OP and Clint and Amy and Ben, if they had
How
kids.
did both of their relationships start, though? That one faithful night when everyone was playing a little innocent game of poker.
Oh my God.
That's what it is, bro.
Dude, I hope not.
I'm calling it. I'm
'Cause how
calling
did
it
that-
from here.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's find out.
And if they approved, they wouldn't have been quiet. They'd be like, oh, interesting. Oh, I didn't know that.
They'd be like,
They
oh,
wouldn't be like,
whoa. Yeah.
we have to tell them the truth now.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So, Amy and I finished up pictures and off to dinner we went. I went with my parents and Clint into our car. Amy and Ben went with all their parents in the other. When we met at the restaurant, the atmosphere was still weird and the parents seemed worried and Amy and Ben seemed annoyed and upset. In the bathroom, Amy told me that the parents were all asking a million questions and getting really personal. Ben's parents told them they couldn't support the relationship, while Amy's parents went a step further and forbid them from dating, stating that them dating would damage the friendship between both families when they break up.
Mm-mm.
Oh, God. Ben pointed out that he and Amy were grown adults and couldn't be forbidden from anything. And then he told both sets of parents that he was sorry that they felt that way, but they would continue to date and hoped everyone could someday come to terms with the relationship. The dinner was so uncomfortable that my parents eventually asked if they should go and we could meet up later. But Amy begged them to stay because it was keeping her parents and Ben's parents from asking more intrusive questions. When the dinner was over, the four of us were making our plans to go out. Amy and Ben said goodbye to their parents, promising to talk the next day when everyone had a chance to process things. Overall, we had a fun night, and we're excited for our trip the next night. The next day, Clint and I spent time with my family, and Ben and Amy had their parents over to their apartment for a talk. When we met Ben and Amy at the airport for our trip, something was clearly up, but nobody was talking.
Oh, I'm about to be right.
I think you might be.
I think I am, dude.
Amy wouldn't tell me what was going on, and Ben told Clint that he didn't want to talk about it when Clint asked. Everything started off with that weird atmosphere from before, but after a day or two, we were back to our usual group dynamic. By the end of our trip, it was like nothing weird had ever happened, okay? Our last night, Ben proposed to Amy on the beach. Whoa!
Oh.
Okay, so maybe not then. Ben proposed to Amy on the
Or-
beach.
Ben was like, this is my parents' fault, not my fault. And I'm going to stay with the person I love.
Oh my God, they're just going with it. Clint said Ben told him about the proposal months before it happened, and he'd been searching for the right ring for a while. Amy was so happy she was crying and asked me to be her maid of honor, which I accepted immediately. Cut to weeks later when we were talking about wedding plans, and Amy tells me she and Ben are eloping because they didn't want any interference from their parents who were adamantly against them getting married. I suggested everyone going to therapy to try and work out the situation and have a nice neutral place to discuss things where a mediator would keep things calm. But Amy said it wouldn't happen. Finally, Amy told me what happened with the parents the morning of the trip. Okay, we're gonna find out. Oh boy.
This is something a counselor cannot help with.
Amy's parents, Andy and Amanda, and Ben's parents, Bob and Beth, had all met in their early 20s when they lived next door to each other. So far, a repeat of our situation. Both couples had moved from other states and didn't know anyone in the area, so the couples became close.
How close?
As they got to know one another, the couples became non-monogamous and would regularly switch things up in the partner department.
I freaking called that.
Oh my God.
As soon as they said they got quiet, I called them.
Because
Full court shot right there.
at the beginning too, they were like, oh yeah, they're like only 11 months apart in age. They're like brother and sister. Like brother and sister. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. From the sound of it, this arrangement was still going on at the time of this conversation. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. The parents were concerned that Amy and Ben's relationship would strain the parents' relationship, causing a rift in what they called their family unit, which is why both families did absolutely everything together. Their parents also said that they raised Amy and Ben together as siblings, so it was uncomfortable seeing them dating, and because they couldn't 100% be sure that they weren't related. Oh no! For a second there, I thought that you were like kind of off because it was just about their relationship, like the parents' relationship being awkward. But if they're not 100% sure that they're not related, I wouldn't want to get engaged right away after that.
But it also plays this weird thing in your mind of, I have been so close to this person. They were like my sister, but they never were. But this is the closest person I have ever been with, and I love them so much. And this sounds like their first serious relationship. What else are you supposed to tell someone? And as soon as you tell a young couple you aren't supposed to be together, what is that couple going to do, Angie?
I mean, yeah, they're going to want to be together, but if
against any odds, against the world, you have fortified them to stay together forever now.
Well, I don't know if it's against all that. I think if you forbid someone from being together, I think they're not going to go against Game of Thrones type fun. I don't think it's going to be against that. I think that will be a condition for a lot of people.
I don't know. Now seeing this, who knows what the household growing up
If
is like.
you and I were going to get married and I found out that our parents were boinking with each other and we weren't 100% sure that we were siblings, I don't know if I could do it. I don't
Okay,
think I
but
could marry
change
you.
that we were 19 or 20 in this situation, not the age we are now. And
Still.
this is our first relationship together.
Still,
Still? And I'm
I-
the closest person you've ever been with.
I don't think I'd be able
I'm
to
not
do it.
saying I would be doing it, but that is the circumstances
Yeah.
that this couple is
I
in.
get the confusion that people might have, but oh my gosh.
Okay, hear me out. Parents are born kidding, but we are deeply in love with each other. Toss a coin. Bing. Get a DNA test. See if we're related. If we're not related, are we still getting married?
If we're not related, getting married for sure. If we're not related, yes. Our parents can deal with that.
But if we are related, we
if you're
can't
related,
get married.
no.
Okay.
I think legally, I don't think you can get married.
Well,
In certain
I
states,
mean,
I
it
guess.
just depends on the birth certificate, not the DNA test.
Oh
They
my
don't
God,
do
really?
DNA tests anymore. They used to do DNA tests. Like in the South, they did DNA tests all the time
You had to.
because you didn't know.
Well, because it's just not safe, too, for kids.
That's why we have the title of the story.
Oh my god. Oh my god. We haven't even gotten to the title of the story yet. Holy crap. After Amy told me all of this, I was dumbfounded and I don't think I spoke for 10 plus minutes. What could I say? There were questions. There were concerns. There were facts, but I couldn't get anything organized enough in my head to say anything. This made Amy upset with me because she thought I was judging her, but when I could find my words, I explained that I was processing and trying to figure out where to start. My questions went something like this. Okay, how are you feeling about all of this information? Mad at my parents. They've made a mess of things, but I loved my childhood and wouldn't change a thing, so I don't know. Are you concerned that you are related? We were at first, but we had been dating for a year when we found this out, and ultimately it didn't change anything. We couldn't unsleep with each other, and we still love each other. We may never know if we are related. So you're not going to find out if you're related? Nope. What if you want to have kids? We will adopt.
Okay.
I'm sure there were more questions, but those were the highlights.
Oh, wow. I get why they wouldn't want to find out.
Yeah, they'd probably just be terrified. They probably just don't want to know. But you gotta know.
Do you?
Yes.
Do you?
You gotta know if you're boinking your brother.
Question. If you could look in the future right now to see if we get married,
Uh-huh.
would you look?
If we get married or at our DNA tests?
No. If we got married, would you look in the future to see if we got married or not right now and you have the choice?
No,
You wouldn't look?
I would not look.
That's probably the same situation they're in.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I think that's a
don't
completely
disagree.
different situation. If I'm gonna find out something about my future, a huge part of my future, versus my relations to people, because then that
But I feel like if they knew if they were related, it would ruin it and they wouldn't get married.
and that's probably good. Maybe they shouldn't get married if they're related. That's
But
the
they're so
point.
close to each other,
I know, but
and this is probably the best case scenario for them.
I get
It's their parents' fault. Is it
Yeah.
going to be their fault too?
their parents really screwed them over. That sucks.
Wow.
That sucks. They
I'm
screw
not
each other and then they
okay,
screw their kids over.
I'm not defending incest.
No.
I'm just playing devil's advocate
yeah.
to look
Yeah.
into the minds of this couple.
Okay, and I understand that you're doing that, and I need everyone else to understand that that's what he's doing.
Because first love,
yeah,
being first love with someone is such a passionate feeling,
sure.
and that's where they're at right now.
That is where they're at. That's
they
that's
have
their
had-
mindset.
And they have had this kind of love for each other for a long time.
Well, I mean, they've only been dating for a year before finding this out.
But before that, they were very close.
I mean, I guess.
Do you remember your elementary school crush? I remember my elementary school crush.
Yeah.
It took me till high school to get over her.
Yeah, I get that.
And they're still in contact with each other, and they're still on good vibes.
It's just a crush. It's not like love.
I thought it was my first love.
Well, that's very sweet. I didn't.
Well,
But yeah, Riley's not defending incest. That's what's happening. No.
I'm not from Alabama. I'm from North Carolina, guys. Now, if they were second cousins, maybe.
No. When I told Clint who was to be the best man, he sat quiet for a second and then looked at me with a straight face and said, "You know I love them, but don't you get any ideas. I'm not sharing." Like, to be like their parents?
Yeah, to be swings.
Got it. Oh my god.
Because, like, I would be freaking out because Clint's like, that's how their relationship started.
Yeah, right?
And that one faithful poker night.
Yeah.
Because it could have went either way.
Honestly, it could have.
Clint could have been with Amy. And
It's
you could have
true.
been with Ben OP.
The only reason Clint wasn't stayed away with Amy
It's because of Ben.
Because of Ben, yeah.
Could have went either way. And then one day, you guys could be in the same
Oh
situation.
God.
I wouldn't hang out late at night with him anymore. Oh, it's 8 p.m. We got to go to sleep. See you guys.
It was the perfect comic relief for a pretty heavy situation. Ultimately, Amy and Ben got married. It was a beautiful wedding in the Caribbean. Andy, Amanda, Bob, and Beth did not attend, and the relationship had been strained for a long time. The relationship did get better when Ben and Amy explained that they couldn't turn back time to undo what had been done, dating before knowing everything, and explained that given the genetic concerns, if they decide to have kids, they'll adopt. There wasn't really anything the parents could do but accept this, as Ben and Amy were adults and not kids. Admittedly, this entire situation was weird, but there's no proof that they were related or not related, so everyone just let life go on as it had been before we knew anything.
I'm going to be for real with you. If this happened to my friends and I was this close to them,
Yeah.
I'm going to be getting a little bit of blood, a hair. I don't care. I'm
Yeah,
going to
you're
find out the
sneaking.
answer.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure this out. It's got to happen. I can't live with this unknown.
I don't think I could. It's only a year. Because, I mean, I'm just also a big voucher of, like, you need to be together for a while before getting married anyway.
They knew each other, though.
Yeah, but, like...
They knew each other
but
more than 3 years.
I mean, I guess that is true. They knew each other since they were children. But, like...
They're brother and sister.
They've known each other since they were 11 months apart. Because they were raised by the same 4 parents. This is a crazy story. Oh, my God. This is one of our own, may I remind you. My goodness. Ben and Amy have been happily married for years. They live an hour or so away, and we see them often. But recently, we've been getting a weird vibe from them.
Oh, no. They want kids.
We invited them over for a weekend several times, and they kept randomly canceling. Finally, I wrote an email to Amy explaining that I missed her and wanted to talk because I felt like something was driving a wedge and I wanted to fix things, but I couldn't if I didn't know what was going on. She wrote back and asked if they could come the next weekend, and we started planning. Ben and Amy came, and after dinner the first night, they let us know that Ben's dad, Bob, was in kidney failure and was looking for a donor. Long story short, neither Ben or Amy were a match. Furthermore, they found out that Bob is not related to either of them, making Ben and Amy's half-siblings by Andy, Amy's dad.
This
It's confirmed.
is hilarious.
Oh my God.
Because they were avoiding it at any possible way.
Yeah.
And over time,
Yeah.
they got their
The
answer.
universe just gave him
Oh.
a situation.
Dad, I can donate for you. Let me go
Yeah.
see. Not compatible.
Yeah.
Amy, hoping.
Yeah.
I can donate for you. Not compatible.
Which is kind of funny because Amy would have to, I mean, is that a thing that the donor has to be like
Same kind
related
of like
to?
same blood.
Okay.
And you get your blood from your father.
Okay.
Your blood type from your father.
Got it.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's just kind of funny that Amy would at least, like, just her having to see if she could donate her kidney would be an admission that, like, yeah, it might be your son or your daughter. We might be related. Oh my God.
Man. Bob, you're 0 for 2, my dude. And you're not getting a kidney. Dang, that must have been a sad day for Bob there. Ben's dad, or so-called dad. Because he didn't have a kid. Neither of those were his kid. And he can't get a kidney.
Okay, but
But-
they would have. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Neither of them were his kid. And he didn't have a kidney transplanter.
Yeah, bad day for Bob. I need to go back really quick
Why?
because I need to see. Like, I'm thinking if they have same mom, different dads, how did they ever think that they're not related? I missed that little
Because
bit.
the perfect scenario is that Ben's dad and Ben's mom had a kid together and
Yeah.
it made Ben. And then Amy's parents were separate from that equation, had a kid. So that's the perfect scenario. But whenever you put, a couple and make it 4, there is that complication of like, oh, that mom was with this person,
So then if Amanda, who was Amy's mom, and I guess also Ben's mom, if Amanda had 2 kids, Ben was not raised by Amanda, technically. I mean, they all kind of raised together, right?
So both women got pregnant. So those women, whenever they had kids, stayed in that household. So if Amanda's mom,
I see.
we can
Okay.
cut this out.
Same
But
dad,
if-
different moms.
Same dad, yeah.
Just the complicated relationships here.
Goodness gracious.
So has this affected their relationship? Not at all, because, and I quote, we still love each other the same as if we didn't know. I don't think it's about love, guys.
We're in the denial stage right now, guys.
Yeah, we really are. We really are. Then Amy tells us that every time they come to visit, they see us with our kids and it makes them want their own family. And now, with Bob being sick, they want kids before he's gone. I asked about adopting, and they explained that now that they know for sure that they're half siblings, their marriage is considered legally void, and that they don't think they'll be able to adopt if someone finds out. And they are even more worried that if they hide this info and are able to adopt a child and it comes out later that they are related, any children they have will be taken away. They did not think that whole adoption excuse through. That was their reason.
So it leaves them with the only option to have kids with themselves.
No, don't do that.
I mean, you can always take a kid from the street. It's always running around. Just take the one where the parent isn't paying attention and just take that one.
Yeah, sure.
I know this sounds dark, but sometimes my dark feelings is like a kid will be like walking away from the parent. I'm like, I could take that kid right now.
No, I get you.
Parent wouldn't even know.
It's those thoughts that make you scared for when you are eventually a parent. It's like, my kid could just be snatched right up just like that.
Like, oh, there they go.
Yeah. But don't do that. Oh my God, this is an insane story. I suggested getting a donor for IVF, and they were both concerned that with that option, they'd have even more blood work and cause more problems. That's when Amy dropped the bomb that they are thinking about trying for a child the traditional way. Apparently, I didn't need to say anything because my face said it all. Amy got defensive, saying how dare I judge her. Ben pointed out that I hadn't said anything. I then did say, "What the F?" under my breath, and Clint started laughing. The room became complete chaos. Amy said that I don't understand because I'm an effing baby factory, and then asked if I'd be seen barefoot making breakfast tomorrow. Yikes.
You know, some people are against the trad wife thing. Some people aren't. It's just a whole.
It's just like
It's a preference thing, you know.
that's just a weird thing to throw in here, though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It just shows how jealous she is.
Yeah.
If she wants to be a trad wife.
You don't
maybe, I
understand, right? You don't understand because you are a baby factory. Calling anyone a baby factory is crazy. Because OP has had 4 kids, and then barefoot making breakfast. Oh my God!
Like those girls on Instagram.
They're just walking around all barefoot because they're in the
Again.
house making breakfast.
Kidnapping. You can change it up and make it kid-adopting.
Adopting? I don't think so. I don't think that's how it works.
I don't know. You can make it new. I mean, you guys are trying new things right now, so
2 new things. Or not new enough.
too
Perhaps.
many new things here.
I pointed out that if I was, it would be for my children whose parents don't share DNA. Ben said, "Hey now, let's not say things we don't really mean. Emotions are clearly running high." And then Clint laughed more and said it was hormones that are making me like this and how he wished it was just emotions. And then he asked Amy, "Are you sure you want to do this to yourself? Look at her. She's a mess." I repeated this, saying, "I'm a mess? Are you kidding me? I didn't do this to myself." At that point, Clint winked at me and said he wouldn't have me any other way and kissed me. He's the kind of guy that would rather cut a joke during a tense situation instead of have a serious talk. And honestly, I do love him for this. Okay, so that was all lighthearted and fun.
Okay, good.
Then Amy started crying, telling me I don't know how lucky I am. I tried pointing out that I do know how lucky I am, but that having kids comes with a lot of stress, and I worry every time they get sick or hurt. It's stressful, and you wish you could take all of their problems on yourself so they don't have to go through pain or struggles. I then told her, between sobs, that if they had kids, they could be opening up their kids to all kinds of health, developmental, or mental problems. I tried pointing out that some of these issues are things that could end up taking over their lives or worse, give their kids no real life at all. Amy said she would love her child no matter what their problem could be, then claimed that I was trying to be cruel and rub our happy life in her face. That's kind of a crazy thing to say. OP is bringing up preventative issues that could happen to your kids.
Mhm.
And not in the kind of sense of like, oh, this is going to be something that you're going to have to deal with. You're going to have to deal with a child that has all these lifelong issues. No. She's bringing that up as like, your child is going to have these issues. Don't you not want that for your child? But Amy is just like, well, I would love my child either way, whatever issues they have. It's like, yeah, but don't you not want them to have these issues that are completely preventable by you not boinking your brother? Come on.
Okay. So, found a loophole. I did a little Google search. When adopting, do the adoptive parents have to have their blood tests checked or their lineage checked to see if they're related? No, adoptive parents generally don't need mandatory blood tests or lineage checks as a part of the standard adoption process. They undergo health screenings, physical background checks for suitability, while DNA tests are usually for adult adoptees seeking biological links. So low-key, the person that's probably going to get, blood tested would be the adopted kid.
Yeah.
So I would lean more on them adopting and being like, they probably won't find out if you guys really want to have kids, because it's unfair for them.
It's totally unfair.
For Ben and Amy. I don't think they should
Well-
have went through with it. There's still other people in the world.
Yeah. They've just done
Ugh.
absolutely no research. They stayed together and decided to get married because they're like, I will adopt. And then after they were looking into it, they were like, oh, wait, maybe we can adopt because of this new information. But they didn't even bother to look, apparently.
I don't know.
That was
They were in
one
love. They
quick-
were in love. Love, overcame everything there.
Nothing should have come anywhere in this story.
God.
I told her I wasn't trying to do anything of the sort, and that if she wanted a family, she should have gotten all the info before getting married so she knew what she was getting herself into. Amy then accused me of only saying that because I was secretly hoping she couldn't marry Ben because I'd always wanted him for myself ever since I dated Ben in college. Ben and Clint both started laughing because the entire idea was just ridiculous. Ben is like my brother. Fake brother. And I'm deeply in love with my husband.
Thanks for clarifying, OP.
fake brother. Or like your actual brother. One that
Doesn't
you
seem
would
to
not
s-
boink.
Doesn't seem to stop some people.
I guess not. By the way, you should never stop listening to full episodes of stories just like this one, because we've got a lot of crazy ones like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast platform you choose. Just search OK Storytime. There is a little bit more to this story, but
Golly, man.
oh my god. This has the most twists and turns I've ever encountered.
I just can't believe I called that.
Yeah.
And that is the
Yeah.
third story
I can't believe you called that either.
in my whole. This is top 3 right here in OK Storytime
Honestly,
history.
yeah.
Maybe number 2. Number 1 was the Chinese dragon one.
Oh,
Yeah, there was a story where these parents didn't like the oldest kid, and they
okay.
liked their second oldest kid, and they just disowned the oldest kid.
Oh, what?
And they said that they were Asian and from China, I think. And I was like, oh, it's because that second kid was the year of the dragon.
Oh.
Because I'm the year of the dragon.
Uh-huh.
And
And then that happened to be true?
but then I called this one. This is the second best take I've ever had.
Oh my god. That's crazy. After the laughing had subsided, Ben thankfully said there was a lot to think about and unpack, and the best person for them to talk to was a doctor, and not to unload on each other. Then he said that perhaps it was best if everyone went to bed. Amy said she wanted to go home, and after a lot of back and forth between her and Ben about staying and calmly talking tomorrow versus going home and letting this all fester, Amy said she wouldn't stay even if it meant that she walked home. Ben said sorry and took her home, texting to let us know that they were home safe, and Amy was still worked up, but they'd call when things calmed down. That was Friday night. It's now Sunday, and we haven't heard from her, although Ben and Clint are talking like nothing's happened. I've sat down to write several emails, but I just can't get myself to say that I support this option. Am I the a-hole for not being more supportive? And that's the end of that story. I'm gonna say no, because it's not even that you were like, oh my god, you guys are disgusting. How could you do this? Like, you were generally supportive of their relationship, just in general, because that's already weird in my opinion. But when it comes to the baby making stuff, you brought up genuine concerns. These are real concerns that everyone should consider if they're considering having a baby with their sibling, half or not. I think your reaction is so valid, and it is okay for your reaction to be shown as much as it was. That's a lot. I think she's having such a defensive reaction because she knows how outlandish this is. And she knows the obvious, social, I don't even know what to call it. Taboos? No. She knows the general social opinions against marrying and having babies with your siblings. Any comments over there?
I'm just blown away that this actually happened.
Yeah. This is one of our own.
And living it would be horrible, but also seeing your friend go through this, close friend, I don't know which one's worse. I mean, okay, actually, living through it is the worst option.
I think the reason, like, living through it is definitely the worst option, but hopefully it would go differently if we were living through this. But, like, I think the 1 year thing is really getting me because it's, yes, you've known each other for that long, but, like, just a year of dating is not that hard to come out of. Like, you can still break up and be okay. You know what I mean?
Angie, I disagree with you here because this is completely different. If I ask you to marry me after a year, getting out of that, completely fair. But if I've known you my whole life and I've had secretly feelings for you and you've had secretly feelings for me, and then we date and that's the best year of our lives together, that's a little harder to come back from. They had a lot of time they spent together. And now they're siblings.
I don't like this thought experiment. Well, maybe then you stop dating and you continue your sibling relationship because your siblings you grow up
After
with.
you already boinked it? After you already boinked it.
Well, what else can you do? You don't just keep boinking. That's their issue here. Is they're like, well, we already boinked. It's like a lactose intolerant person saying, oh, well, I already had one scoop of ice cream. Might as well have 17 more. I'm sure I won't have diarrhea the next day. Or at least I'm bound to have diarrhea, so I might as well make it worse.
They have no consequences, though. The only consequences would be if they had kids, and OP is saying
it's gonna
don't
happen.
have kids.
But
I think they can adopt. I think this loophole is fine.
I mean,
Just
they
do
could.
it.
It seems like they technically could adopt, but it's just like, guys, does that really not freak you out at all? Does it really not freak you out at all?
Like for them, if this was my friend and I couldn't do anything for them to get divorced or like whatever,
yeah,
I would say look into adopting. We're going to go online and look this up right now, okay? What is the possibility of them actually finding out? You know how much of your life you have to explain to them for the adoption agency to figure that out?
True.
They'd have to know them this closely.
Yeah.
And we're getting this from a best friend.
That is true.
I would just adopt. Guys, would you say adopt? You can't change them being married or getting divorced. They're not going to happen. How would you explain this?
Yeah, you'd have to, I guess, push adoption.
You have to.
You have to. For the children.
For the children.
For the children.
It's a win-win scenario. The kids get adopted and they're not going to grow up with an extra finger.
It's not a question if you're going to love them or not, if they have some sort of disability because they're a product of incest. It's not about your love for them. It's about them being a product of incest.
You're going to make their lives a million times harder if you have kids the good old natural way. Just adopt. Their lives are going to be hard, but you're in a tough situation and you have to take responsibility of that, sadly.
Okay. Also, this is the end of that story and the end of that episode, but my final thing I will say is that this story was sent in a year ago, it looks like. So if you're watching this, I'm going to need an update.
Please.
I'm going to need an update stat.
Right now. Is there a kid out there?
Is there a kid? Is there a pregnant woman that is one of these people? Or are they adopting? Is there a pregnant woman that they're going to adopt the child from?
Their logic of, we already boinked, we can't change time.
That's crazy. Because then you're still boinking. Before, you were just two people boinking. Now you're brothers and sisters boinking. Before, you were brothers and sisters boinking on accident, but you didn't know. Now you do know. So now you're consciously brothers and sisters boinking.
That's just not fair for them. I get it. That's just not fair for them. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Amy and Ben.
I will agree with that. I am sorry that you guys are brothers and sisters. That really sucks that the love of your life is related to you. That does suck. But that's the end of that story.
The girl I'm talking to is my supervisor's daughter, and I don't know what to do.
Be open and honest about everything.
Right. So this is a bit mad. I'm 19, been working full-time as a welder for about 4 months now. Decent place, proper mix of older blokes and younger lads. Mostly sound. My supervisor is this serious type. Not a bad guy. Just keeps to himself mostly. Proper old school. By the way, this comes from Tyler B2K18, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Angie.
And I'm Vincent with Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, anyway, few weeks back, I started chatting to this girl on Instagram. She liked one of my stories. I messaged her, and we've been going back and forth since. Nothing heavy, bit flirty, sending memes, that sort of thing. I told her I do welding, and she was like, love a lad who works with his hands.
Uh-oh.
So I thought I was doing all right. Fast forward to today, I'm on my break and my supervisor sat next to me on his phone. I glance over and see his wallpaper. It's her. Like 100% her. Same face, same Instagram. My stomach just dropped.
Oh no.
Did a bit of digging after work and whoop, it's his daughter.
Oh boy.
I don't think she knows I work for her dad, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't know we've been talking. Now I'm just sat here thinking, what the heck do I do? I like chatting to her, but I don't want to lose my job or cause drama. If he finds out the wrong way, it's going to be so awkward. Do I tell her, stop messaging, or just leave it and see what happens? And there are some comments, but what do you think?
I mean, we're just in a talking stage with her right now.
Nothing's going on. Maybe just keep it like above board. Don't say anything inappropriate.
Yeah, I think so. Make sure you're treating her very well. 'Cause
Yeah?
I feel like this could go a really good way if you play your
Yeah.
cards right. Like it could go bad. I mean, one, if he's just not comfortable with that, and two, like if you treat her poorly.
Yeah.
But if you're like superstar boyfriend, if you even get to that point, then like that you could have a great relationship with him.
This could be upward mobility in your career.
Yeah. Common one says, nah, just see where it goes. The better of your quality of work, the more he'll like the idea. Common 2 says, I would tell her and get her opinion of the situation. If you keep talking to her without giving her a heads up, I bet either she or her dad are going to figure out he's your supervisor and will ask you if you knew. If you start backing away from her without an explanation, that would suck, since she wouldn't know why. OP says, you make a fair point. Okay, I'll most likely tell her. Fly says, you don't have to tell her, just mention it. It's a funny coincidence, and that's about it. Outside of work, you're an independent adult, free to date who you choose. She's an independent adult, free to date who she chooses. Comment 3 says, you should tell him about it up front. Let him know you have met his daughter, and you found out about the relationship and want to clear the air. You don't have to ask permission, but good communication up front will preemptively solve a lot of problems. Just be respectful and clear that you meeting her had nothing to do with your supervisor's relationship to her. Update. I told her who I work for. Didn't expect her reaction.
Uh-oh.
So this is a follow-up to my last post. I've been chatting to this girl for a few weeks. Bit flirty. All's going well. Then I found out she's my supervisor's daughter. Thought my heart was gonna fall out of my chest. Read through a load of the comments on my post. Cheers to everyone who replied, by the way. And a bunch of you said I should just be straight with her and tell her before it got more awkward. So I did.
Good.
I messaged her and said something like, bit random, but I think I actually work with your dad, lol. Took her a minute to reply, then she just went, wait, what? Turns out she had no idea. I was sure she'd suss something, but nope, fully shocked. She started asking me how long I worked there and said she couldn't believe we hadn't figured it out sooner. Her actual words, that's so funny, but also kind of mental. What are the odds? I asked if she wanted to keep talking or if it was too weird now. And she just said, nah, I'm not that fussed. Just don't make it awkward and definitely don't get fired. LOL. We did agree not to tell her dad yet, mostly because we've only been talking and it's not anything serious. But also because I genuinely don't know how he'd take it. He's not scary exactly, but he's very much the don't mix personal with work type.
I see.
So yeah, it's still early days, but at least it's not a total disaster. Appreciate the advice from the last post. Probably would have bottled it otherwise. We'll update again if anything mad happens. Hopefully not, though. And there are some comments. Seems like it worked out.
Yeah.
Seems like it. I'm glad she's cool with it.
Yeah.
You just got to be on your best behavior at work and obviously in the relationship. That should go without.
Yeah, she'll be doing
noting,
that
but-
anyway, but
yeah.
also, like, really gotta be on your best behavior.
Yeah.
I'd be careful about even saying anything too flirty. Comment 1. Start calling him dad at work. Reply says, or granddad if you really want to freak him out.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Reply says, this is the power move. Comment 2 says, happy it worked out, but be careful, because OMG, her dad will freak out when he does find out. Take it from a 42-year-old, I know. Happy it worked out, but be careful, because, yeah, that says it. Comment 3 says, time to be a model employee so that if and when the time comes, he needs to know his reaction will include, actually he's a good guy at work, and make taking it on board easier. And we got another update. So let's do it.
Hey.
A
All right.
week after telling her I work with her dad. Now we're dating and he knows?
Ooh, okay.
Wow.
Dating? All right, final update on this whole situation, I reckon. It's been just over a week since I told her I work with her dad, my supervisor. If you didn't see my first post, I've been chatting to this girl for a few weeks. Turns out she was my supervisor's daughter. Told her, she laughed. We agreed to keep it quiet for a bit. Well, fast forward a bit, and now we're properly dating. Not just chatting anymore. We've met up a few times, had a couple of solid nights out, and it just kind of naturally turned into a relationship. Didn't feel forced, just easy.
Nice.
And yeah, her dad knows now. She ended up telling him herself. Said she didn't want to sneak around or make it a thing. Apparently, he just raised an eyebrow and went, "Him? Really?" Then followed it with, "All right, just don't bring drama to my workshop."
Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, you should listen to drama that we have on stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. And there is a little bit of drama left. Since then, it's been surprisingly chill. He hasn't said a word to me about it directly, but he's still treating me the same at work. Bit of banter, bit of graft, no weird tension or anything. I've been keeping it profesh, obviously. So yeah, I went from chatting to a random girl on Insta to dating my supervisor's daughter in about 3 weeks. Didn't see that one coming, but here we are. Thanks to everyone who gave advice on the first post. It actually helped more than I thought. Appreciate the lot of you. Even the ones who said I was done for. And that's the end of the story.
Okay.
Don't believe anyone when they tell you that liking someone's Instagram story means nothing.
Yeah.
Because clearly it means everything.
Yeah. So everyone that's posting
Yeah.
stories just so that their crush could see it and possibly like it, keep doing
Keep
it.
doing it.
It's gonna
It can
work.
work.
Manifest that.
And if they view it means they're in love with you.
Yep. I couldn't tolerate my fiance's driving anxiety, and I don't care if it makes me look bad.
Stop backseat driving.
I, 31 male, am at my wit's end, and I don't even care if it makes me a bad person. My fiance, 32 male, has crippling driving anxiety. He can't drive at all. We live in a rural area of the province. There is no public transportation here, not like in the city. There are no buses, no Ubers, no taxis. There is no way to get around if you can't drive. By the way, this comes from Driving Anxiety Throw, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Vincent with Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in these situations. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And Opie says, because of his driving anxiety, my fiance doesn't have a driver's license and he doesn't know how to drive. He depends on other people to get him around, and I'm sick of it. We've argued about this so much. He's never tried to overcome it or go to therapy or anything. He just flat out refuses. He used to depend on his parents to drive him. Then it was his roommate, and now it's me. I'm sick of having to be the one who has to drive or get in places. He works from home full time, but anytime he needs to go somewhere, it's on me. When I was in the armed forces, my role was to drive all different types of vehicles. Now I'm an electrician, so I drive all over the province to people's homes or commercial businesses for my job. I do actually enjoy driving. My fiance thinks that since I like driving, it's no problem that he doesn't drive. He won't learn. He won't go to therapy. When he still lived at home, his younger sister refused to get her license until she went to university because she didn't want to get stuck being his driver like their parents wanted.
So fair. So
Wow.
valid.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Wow.
He turned down a promotion/better job because it wasn't just working remotely and he would have to go into the office physically some of the time.
This is a phobia. This isn't just anxiety. This is a phobia.
This is like you need to get help.
Yeah.
Desperately.
Absolutely.
It's valid that he has a fear.
Mhm.
Again, it seems like a phobia. It seems a
Mhm.
little bit beyond just like doesn't like driving.
Right.
Or pretty far beyond that.
Mhm.
However, making it your and everyone else's problem in his life is unacceptable.
I wish I had not let it get this far. It's been a sore point in our relationship for a long time. He refuses to see a therapist or work to get over his fear. He won't even admit to having a problem. He's never been involved in a car accident or known anyone who has been hurt or unalived, so I don't know why he gets so anxious. He has never attempted to drive even once. Our last argument was because I refused to drive 4 hours one way and back by myself for a wedding we were both invited to. I would only do it if I could share the responsibilities of driving. He thinks it's fine because I've driven longer distances, but that's not the point. I don't even care if ending things with him over this makes me a bad person. I'm effing done. And there are some comments,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't say that that makes you a bad person.
No.
Honestly.
Yeah. I think that he's putting a lot of the like labor of driving and the mental load of driving on you, and that's unacceptable.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if there's like not a apparent reason for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I mean, if you were to stay with him, I would just stop driving him anywhere.
Does this just apply to driving? Like, is this anxiety or does he just really not want to do it?
I don't know.
Because is he just like avoiding some sort of responsibility because he's been able to get away with it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that totally could be it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It seems like anxiety, but either way, you can't
Right.
admit whatever's going on, so
Yeah.
it's an issue.
So many questions.
So many.
There are some comments. Dang it, Gravity says, tell him unless he gives you a solid reason beyond I just don't like it, you refuse to drive him anywhere. What would he do if something happened to you? If you got sick or hurt or lost the ability to drive? Relationships are all about compromise and supporting each other, not one partner doing everything. You're willing to support him by taking him to therapy and seeing a doctor about his anxiety. What's he willing to do to take the pressure off of you? I had a friend who had anxiety over driving due to a horrific crash that she was in as a teenager. 20 years later, thanks to therapy and meds, she now has a license and is a decent driver. Her partner still does most of the driving, or she'll take public transport, but if it's a short journey, she'll drive. I suspect it's going in the too hard basket. Yeah, dealing with and potentially getting over it is going to be hard, but so's being single and trying to get around if you leave, so tell him to choose his difficulty. Fantasticalism. No. Tell him that you will drive him to one place and one place only. Therapy. Dog says, or to his new place with a good public transportation.
Yeah.
And there is an update. But yeah, I agree with those.
Agreed.
If this is like a problem to the point where you're willing to break up over this,
Yeah.
then I feel like
Break
at
up.
least like denying driving him anywhere is like the last step that you could do before breaking up.
Yeah, 100%
Yeah.
agree.
Is an update here.
Oh boy.
3 months later, I broke up with my now ex-fiance.
Makes sense.
Wow.
Yep.
Before I ended things, I, 31 male, tried one more time to get him, 32 male, to realize that he needs to learn how to drive, even if it means going to therapy to get over his fear. He told me that he doesn't need to learn how to drive because I like driving, so it shouldn't be a problem for me to do all of the driving. I almost lost it when he said that.
Yikes.
I had to go into the other room to cool off. His reply made me realize that it was a lost cause, so I ended things. He begged me to reconsider, but since he refused to even admit that he has a problem, I was done. And I hope that you guys are never done listening to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast platform. Just search OK Storytime. There is a little bit more to the story, but honestly, good job, OP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needed to get out of that relationship if he wasn't willing to
Yeah.
contribute in a meaningful way.
Right. Partnership is a partnership. Like, you're supposed to be there for each other and go through life together, but you still also need to be able to live on your own and
Yeah.
take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Because what if he was like, well, I don't need to clean because you like it, right?
Yeah.
You like cleaning, so you can do it all the time
Yeah.
and clean up after me.
Also, what if you had a medical emergency and they needed to take you to the hospital?
Yeah.
You couldn't drive.
Exactly. I moved out of our place at the beginning of November, and I'm much happier. My ex-fiance is back living with his parents. I found out that his younger sister was supposed to move back in temporarily, but she decided not to because their parents said that she had to be the driver for my ex-fiance. She opted to go to work in another province while she was applying for PhD programs instead of moving back home because she doesn't want to be his 24/7 chauffeur. I honestly don't blame her. I was tired of it too. I appreciate all the support I got on my last post. One thing, I have turned off my messages after getting a bunch calling me an idiot and other worse names. I will also ignore anyone who does that in the comments, just like I did with my last post. And there are some comments. Scary Yak says, I'm happy for you and your ex-sister-in-law. Emmett Selstone Nail says, I was in this relationship for 4 years. He absolutely refused to learn how to drive despite the fact that I have disabilities that are getting worse. And even though I love driving, it's one of my great passions, driving causes me a lot of pain and I may reach a point where I can't anymore. I now have a partner who loves to drive me around and it is wonderful. I can't believe I let myself live like that, honestly. And that's the end of that story. Gosh. I wonder why the parents are putting up with it.
Mm-mm.
I feel like the parents have to. And it sounds like that him not driving is going to be tearing apart his family at home, too, because the sister doesn't want to come back.
Honestly, like, they don't have to, though. You know, like, if he's 32.
He's a full adult.
Yeah, like, I feel like at that point, if it's that bad to where your kid that's 32 years old and doesn't have any disabilities, it seems, doesn't have any, like, trauma with it, is, like, not only just, like, relying on you to it, but to drive you around, but expecting you to. Like, at that point, you set boundaries as a parent, and you're like, no, I won't. You have to go learn.
Agreed.
It's just, like, I feel like he's the kind of guy that just has absolutely no survival, like, instincts.
That just seems not great. I'm glad OP broke up. He did not need to be in this relationship.
Yeah, I'm glad.
My mother-in-law keeps disfavoring my daughter.
Favor her!
This happened last Christmas, and it still eats at me in those rare moments when all is calm in my household. I want to preface the story with the fact that I understand people have different ideas of what makes gifting fair. While her method is not my cup of tea, it's not up to me to dictate how other people gift. It's not the how, but the when and the impact it had that I'm struggling to decide what to do about. By the way, this comes from user Adulting is Trifficult from the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go on down to the OK Storytime subreddit and submit them there. And we're here to give you our best advice, but we haven't experienced most of these situations ourselves. So if you have, why don't you let us know in the comments? And OP says, I also want to say that I don't expect people to love step family the same as bio family. I'm a fairly logical person. I understand that it's awesome when they do love family the same, regardless of step or bio status, but it's also natural to favor bio family. I do expect some amount of decorum and for the favoritism not to be palpable to the children. Maybe I expect too much from some people.
I don't know. I just think that when you get with a person and you have kids already, I don't really know if I would want to get with a person who didn't have a very strong connection with my kids, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's the most reasonable and simple thought of all time to be like, yeah, you shouldn't make my kids feel like they're less than other people.
Yeah.
They should just be
simple
kids.
Yeah.
Some relevant context. My hubby and I have been together for 5 years. I have an 8-year-old from my previous marriage, and we have a 2-year-old together. Hubby is a good step-parent and loves my kid like she was his own. My mother-in-law and I get along great for the most part. She is loud and opinionated, which can get irritating at times, but she's a nice person in general, and also claims to love my oldest as her own grandchild. Not sure if it's relevant context, so I'm sharing in case people think it is. I have had to correct her when she's overstepped my parenting boundaries. She does the same with sister-in-law and brother-in-law and their kids, who are 2 under 6 years old, but they don't say anything. They just complain to hubby about it later. She's backed off since I called her out on it, but continues to interfere with sister and brother-in-law's parenting because they don't. On to the events leading up to Christmas. All the kids created their wish lists with the help of us parents. Mother-in-law reached out to me to ask if a gift she picked out that wasn't on the list would be liked by my 8-year-old. I said that she would love it, and it was a great idea. She said since it was a large item, it would set the price for that year's gift haul for all the grandkids. Mother-in-law is of the opinion that spending the same amount of money on each kid keeps it fair, even though the younger children get a higher quantity, as generally wish lists get more expensive as the kids get older. Not my idea of what makes it fair, but again, not my place to tell other people how to gift. This would be the first time her method would result in some kids only getting one gift since I've been going to family Christmas. I think there is a certain age when that kind of makes sense. Maybe 8's a little early.
Yeah.
Because then it does, like, at that age, it's like, wait, but look, they have more. And you can't really be like, yeah, but yours cost the same amount as all of them. But they're like, but they got to open
got
7
more.
things, and I only got to open 2 or 1 thing.
Yeah, I remember
It wasn't as fun.
I remember as a kid being like, wait, I want to open I just want to open things.
Yeah.
Let me open things.
Yeah. But if that's how I don't know. I guess it's true that even if that is how you felt, it's like
Not
your
your
place.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she did ask you.
Yeah.
So the floor was open for you to be like, she would like it, but
Yeah.
I don't know if she would like only opening 1 gift.
Yeah, maybe
You know?
we just
So maybe spread it out, even though
Yeah.
she would like that. Fast forward to Christmas Day family gathering. On the way over, I explained to my daughter the method mother-in-law used to buy gifts, so she wouldn't be blindsided when she only got 1, and the younger kids got a few more than her. I didn't spoil the surprise of the gift. I was trying to get ahead of the disappointment I knew would come from only getting 1. I don't know if that was the right move. I think that might have been a wait and see how she handles it, and if she doesn't handle it well, then you try to like damage control,
Sure.
teach the lesson of like, hey, sometimes less is more. Sometimes, hey, the quality of
Yeah.
this thing is actually, when you look at what they got, I know that I'll wrap whatever. You'd be like, if you're sad you didn't get to open more stuff, I'll wrap up some trinkets for you or something, or you could do that. But I don't think prefacing was maybe the right move.
I don't know. I think it could be potentially good.
Yeah.
Like if she knows that her daughter would throw a fit about it or something. Hopefully not.
Throw a fit like Jeff Goldblum.
He's always throwing fits. So stylish.
She was a little bummed, but took it pretty well overall and said she understood. Gift opening time arrives. Kids start opening gifts. Oldest opened her 1 gift. Sister-in-law and brother-in-law's oldest also gets the same big gift. Cue both toddlers getting a plethora of gifts, a 10-to-1 ratio compared to the older kids. Mother-in-law had gotten cheap knockoffs of toys so she could get more for the set price that year. Daughter enjoyed helping her sibling open their gifts since they hadn't figured out how to remove wrapping paper yet and was showing them how to use each one. Crisis successfully averted so far. Nephew did not take it so well that he only got 1 while his sibling got more and started to loudly whine and fuss about it.
Yeah, so it seems like you prepped your daughter better than he was prepped.
Oh, he's also younger.
Now he's a
Little bit.
loser. That's what he is. He's a freaking baby.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
That is true. That is true. This is a baby.
It's a baby.
I don't fault him for this. I guarantee no one explained it to him beforehand. And I get that kids see fairness in quantity since quality and monetary value are less tangible. Hence why I told my kid beforehand. The next part is where I have a problem. Mother-in-law pulls out more gifts for my nephew.
What?
Okay. So not the agreed arrangement.
No.
My daughter saw it and got visibly upset, though no one else seemed to pick up on it. She asked me why he got more if he got the same big gift as her, and she reiterated mother-in-law's rule. She started to gently cry, and I had no words. It hurt my heart. I couldn't explain it because, as my daughter pointed out, mother-in-law broke her own rule. When people do crappy things, my auto response is to tell her that some people just suck sometimes, and I didn't want to say that about my mother-in-law, even if it was true in that moment. I just hugged her and tried to redirect to something else. Eventually, the kids all ran off to play with other things. She had asked, within earshot of mother-in-law. Mother-in-law said nothing and acted as if she hadn't heard or seen my daughter crying. Maybe she didn't. I don't know. She broke her own rule. The one she expressed over and over again and heavily emphasized with so much pride that it was how she was keeping things fair. And she did so to the detriment of my daughter's feelings. And by the way, it won't be a detriment to your feelings if you listen to full episodes of stories like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen, just search OK Storytime. And we do have a little bit more story here.
I think that OP's plan to like pre-prep her daughter would have been perfectly fine if mother-in-law hadn't lied. So it really sucks that she lied. And it seems like what we're going to learn is that she did it because OP's step granddaughter.
Yeah.
Which really sucks. And I think that OP has the right idea of just saying sometimes people do mean stuff and we can't really control them. And we just have to kind of move forward and maybe let's go get ice cream.
Yeah, it's like your genetic code does not match the gift registry.
Yeah.
You cannot receive a second gift.
Your thumbprint didn't work. Sorry. No gift for you.
Just lame.
Yeah.
Just a lame thing to do to a child.
8-year-old.
They're children.
An 8-year-old.
I would flip around and be like, dang, mother-in-law, you really that broke?
Yeah, I can't afford
Dang,
a
mother-in-law.
another little gifty.
Dang, mother-in-law, I didn't know you were broke like that. You want a $20 bill from me? Here, hey, Merry Christmas. Here's an Abraham Lincoln. Go buy yourself something nice.
Yeah, you should just not get her a gift. And when she's like, "Why didn't you get me a gift?" You're like, "Oh, well, we're not related."
OP, I do hope you did take her aside because you've already
Yeah.
called her out, and you take her aside and you go, yeah, I see exactly what you're doing here, and it's not cool. And honestly, I think you should feel a little disgusted with yourself.
Yeah.
This is a child.
I agree. I think we need to
Would
have
you
that
not
combo.
want all of the children to feel welcome in the family?
Definitely get your partner involved. Let him know what's going on.
But we do have a little more story. To top it all off, as I was looking at the gifts the 2 toddlers were getting, I noticed half of them weren't from their own wish lists, but from my daughter's list. So not only did she make my daughter feel like she was worth less than her cousins on Christmas Day, my daughter had to watch her cousin and sibling get some of the things she had wanted. Is it just my inner mama bear overreacting, or should I do/say something as we're approaching the prep season for next Christmas? Move in the shadows. How do I get past this? My daughter hasn't brought it up since, but I'm still irked by it. And that is the end of that story. I do think your daughter is probably pretty resilient and gonna be fine. That's why that's my whole point of like maybe waiting, just like to wait and see how she reacts,
Yeah.
and then judge like, all right, what level of like nurturing or shielding is really necessary here. It seems like she processed that pretty well and
Yeah.
almost enjoyed like opening those gifts, even though they were things that she might have wanted. It sounds like your daughter would be the kind of person who'd be like, "Oh, this is so cool. This is something I wanted. You're gonna really like this
Yeah.
because I would have really liked this, so you're gonna like it."
I
And that
think-
just means you're raising a good kid.
Yeah. I think that it seems like your daughter's doing great. I think that she's going to be fine from this experience. However, it is definitely something you need to address with your partner and mother-in-law because it's only going to get worse and more obvious as she grows older.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's something that's gonna get worse over time.
Yeah.
So it's something that needs to be called out
Now.
pretty fast.
Now.
And yeah, I think you're right. I would call them out as a team,
Yeah.
100%. And maybe even get like brother-in-law, sister-in-law involved.
Yeah.
You know, whoever the relevant parties are, just sit down and be like, "Hey, we need to talk about how you behave with the kids."
Yeah.
But that is the end of that story.
Wife taped over our security cameras to bring random men home.
Maybe they were there to work on the security cameras.
My 35 male, soon to be ex-wife, 34 female, served me with divorce papers about a month ago. We have been together for 10 years and married for the last 6. Currently, we are cohabitating since we have 2 kids, 3 and 1.5. By the way, this comes from Uncivil Engineer 1. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. For the last 2 weeks, after the kids go to sleep, she has left for several hours, coming back generally past midnight. She always has a bad lie about what she is doing, as she is a bad liar, and I know what she says is a lie, but I just assumed she was starting to see someone else. One of her friends called me today because she is worried about her. Long conversation short, the friend told me she is worried because soon-to-be ex-wife admitted to her that she has slept with 4 different men in the last week and is meeting a new guy again tonight. She also admitted to unprotected spicy sleep with at least 2 of these men. The friend said soon-to-be ex-wife never crossed the cheating line before, but since I got served, soon-to-be ex-wife does not view this as cheating since we're not together. While I will agree she has the right to see other people, this really hurt. Finding out that not only did she move on fast, but that since we had our youngest son, we have had a passed away bedroom. Not from a lack of me trying to be affectionate with her, but she always said she was overstimulated by the kids or tired from work. Even before marriage and kids, she was not the most physically intimate person, but there was at least some. So for her to immediately start jumping into bed with men she met online is very concerning to me. Soon-to-be ex-wife expressed again to me today how she wants to cohabitate after the divorce so we can both be around for the kids. But I can't see how I'm expected to stay at home while she sleeps around with anyone that sends her a nice message on a dating app. I also don't feel it is the best interest of the kids that mommy is out late and then is too tired every day to help them get ready for daycare or really interact with them after daycare. For the record, since the kids started daycare, I am primarily the one who gets them ready for daycare and does the drop-off. She used to help and pack their snacks and juices, but nothing for the last few months. We do alternate cooking days, so she does help there, but I'm also the one who bathes them and gets them ready for bed. She will put them to sleep, as our kids don't sleep unless someone lays next to them until they fall asleep. So what am I supposed to do? I'm already talking to my lawyer about our path moving forward regarding separating, and I already expressed my interest in buying her out of the house so my kids have a safe home to grow up in. But should I try for more custody time? I can't even look at her anymore, so cohabitating is out of the question for me. Do I bring up my concerns to her and tell her I know about her sleeping with all these men? I'm honestly worried she is on a destructive path and something bad might happen to her. I'm not trying to be controlling, as she is free to do what she wants, but I feel like I can't stay silent, as it's not right for me or the kids.
I think if you were saying you wanted to do this because you were like, I want to confront her, I'd be like, that's ridiculous and you shouldn't do that. You should just move on and focus on your child. But I think if you do want to bring it up in a way where it's like, hey, definitely preface it with being like, we're breaking up and you can do whatever you want, but I do still care about you. I just want to make sure, I know you're seeing a lot of guys. I just want to make sure you're not doing something out of like impulse or that you're being safe. That's all.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put that out there. And then she'll probably just, not be receptive to it. But if you want to just get that out there for your own peace of mind, I don't see a problem with that.
Comments. Comment 1. Soon-to-be ex-wife expressed again to me today how she wants to cohabitate after the divorce so we can both be around for the kids. And the commenter says, LOL, of course she does. She has babysitters she doesn't have to pay and just go around town getting wasted and hooking up and not worrying about the fact that she has 2 kids under 5 years old at home. Under no circumstances should you agree to this. After the divorce is final, one of you is going to have to move out. I strongly suggest her, since she is the one who wants out and filed, so she should leave. Listen, document everything she is doing and give it to your lawyer. If you don't have a lawyer, get one ASAP and do everything he says. OP says, I asked the lawyer to see if there was a way I could keep the house. I have 2 boys and want them to grow up in a house. If she got the house, I probably won't be able to afford a new house anytime soon, since housing prices in my area are insane and an apartment is nearly what I pay in mortgage now. Trying my best to raise the boys in a house, but I guess it is up to me and my lawyer to make that happen. I talked to my mother-in-law. She is shocked by us getting a divorce. Not that it matters to the court, but she also expressed I needed to keep the house for the boys, and when I told her if I don't get the house, I would move into an apartment. She offered for me to move in with her and boys, and my rent would be saving for a down payment for a new house. My brother-in-law then called me and offered me the same thing. They are actually 2 very good people. Not sure if I would consider this, but at least I have options if the ex gets the house. And we have an update. Hey everyone, thanks for your kind words and suggestions as I move forward in my divorce. For those new here, my soon-to-be ex-wife hit me with divorce papers at the end of May. Since then, she has gone out several times with different men after having a cold bedroom for nearly 2 years. Well, soon-to-be ex-wife admitted to me she has no longer been emotionally or physically attracted to me for some time, and was only sticking around for the kids, 3 and 18 months, but decided she needed to move on. She has been seeing other men, plural, but waited until she served me to do it. We made 2 promises. Under no circumstances are these men to come anywhere near my kids. Since we are still cohabitating until the divorce is final, no people in the house. I took the kids away this weekend to my brother's to enjoy the 4th of July weekend. Soon-to-be ex-wife started acting funny. She wanted control of our shared Ring cameras and wanted the account admin password in case anything happened while I was away. She has access to the cameras, but everything is tied to my email. I thought this was strange, since when I travel for work, she never needed control, just access. But this comes in a little later. While I was away with the kids, she was cleaning the house. I noticed she unplugged our internal camera in the kids' room, but whatever. We use that to watch the kids in case we step out of the room. If the kids aren't there, the inside camera isn't needed. She then taped over the doorbell camera because she is cleaning the porch area and doesn't want it to get damaged.
So this is the most blatantly obvious, like, I'm getting rid of the
Right.
cameras so you don't see I'm bringing people into the house.
I like that this is the path she went to and not like, I don't know, like, oh, the power went out and the cameras aren't working or something, which I'm sure they still do work, but.
Yeah, it's just like, just go somewhere else.
First, we live in Florida and just went through 2 hurricanes. I'm sure the camera is going to be fine, but she thinks I'm dumb and is a horrible liar. Side note, she also did not call or text once to check on the kids. I had to call her because the kids wanted to talk to her, but she was brief and didn't seem to really care that they wanted to say hi. Well, the real reason revealed itself shortly later. Soon-to-be ex-wife brought some random man over to the house in front of my neighbors and everything. She brought this guy into the house we share and where our kids live. We also have other cameras around the outside of the house, and I saw this guy in the front yard. I texted her and said, there's a random guy on the side of the house. She said it was a lawn maintenance person giving her a budget. Lady, it's Saturday after the 4th of July. No lawn crew is coming to give out a budget, let alone hanging around our house for 4 hours. I texted her back to lock the doors just to see if she would finally be honest. Radio silence. I texted her a few more times and nothing. I said I would call for a welfare check since there's a strange car parked outside our house and a stranger walking around, and still nothing. My brother convinced me not to call as it could lead to complications in the divorce. She texted me back a few hours later after I saw this guy leaving and said, sorry, I fell asleep. When I confronted her about it, she said she just didn't want to hurt me, but treating me like I'm dumb is even more of an insult. I honestly gave up on caring. But I just wish she had followed the 2 rules we had established. If I can't trust her not to bring men into our shared home where our kids live within 1 week of her making that promise, how can I trust her to take the kids out without expecting they'll be tagging along on her dates? I don't know these men. I don't know where she's meeting them. For the safety of my kids, I don't want to bring them back home. But I know if I don't, she'll try to charge me with parental kidnapping. I emailed my lawyer and he responded with, call me tomorrow morning. Probably going to pay out the nose for a quick call on a holiday weekend, but if he can tell me what I can and can't do to keep my kids safe, it will be worth it. And by the way, it's always worth it for you to search up full episodes of stories just like this. You go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime. To me, yes, it hurts that she's already sleeping with multiple men, but if it's going to happen, keep it out of our house and away from our kids. I thought I was being pretty accommodating since we're getting divorced. Why does she have to sleep with them in our house? Funny thing is, she thinks unplugging the ring allowed her to do whatever she wanted. We have an AITA security system as well that also takes periodic snapshots of the playroom that I know she forgot about. So I'll also be sending that over to my lawyer just in case it does any good. That's the end of that story.
If she brought this guy into the house and then brought him into like the space your kids are in,
and like the
that's
playroom.
just like messed up.
I want to give away my blind daughter's cat.
Just because it can't see?
I am 34 and a parent of 5 kids, including my daughter, 14. Let's call her Zia. She is legally blind and loves all animals. For her 13th birthday, I gifted her a kitten. By the way, this comes from True Story in the North, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit, where this story comes from.
They're one of us. So, the daughter's blind.
The daughter's blind, not the cat.
Interesting. So, she wouldn't know
She wouldn't know.
if you got a new cat.
Well, I don't think they want a cat at all. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments and whether or not you would get rid of your blind daughter's cat. Opie says, we already had 2 cats, a mother cat and her 1 kitten who was 3 years old at the time. My daughter absolutely wanted a cat for her birthday, but it was not this cat. I figured maybe a kitten would be better than the one she loved to visit at the shelter, who was a few months older. I realized it was the wrong move and have apologized to her for choosing a younger cat when her heart was set. The other cat has since been adopted. No going back now for this mom of 5. Some backstory. She has a lot of attachment issues, social anxiety, depression, and separation anxiety. The big one, her father was an on and off again father who left us when she was 3. She missed him a lot. He absolutely loves her, but slowly went from a small amount of contact to now almost none. I do not ask for support. Maybe that is my pride talking. And I do not feel I have needed it anyways. I have asked him to call her or spend time with her. He would game with her on a rare occasion before. Me and him met online, and he lived then and now 27 hours away in another province. He's only visited her once since we broke up. She is torn, but also getting older and realizing if he wanted to, he would. Second big hit. Her best and only friend passed away from a tragic night. She has never been the same since. She longs for love and friendship, but is scared to trust again. She currently has no friends that are not online friends. Third time's a charm. She is legally blind. Does not like to be touched, but loves to cuddle her animals. I got her a hamster the day she found out about her best friend passing, but that hamster is also gone after only a year or so. She is heartbroken all over again, as she gave it the same name as her late friend. Oh, get her like a tortoise, please.
Or a lobster.
How long do lobsters last?
114 years.
Yeah, get her a lobster.
Yeah. That also, great movie.
Haven't seen
Lobster.
it.
It's a dystopian movie. You like dystopian movies?
Sometimes.
Like
Isn't
weird
that the one where they
dystopian?
like turn it into a lobster? I've heard about this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
From you. Some more small info about her and the family. My brother passed away, and I'm raising my late brother's children. I had to keep my daughter homeschooled for a year, as her school did not tell me she would go to school and sit in the hall and cry the whole day away. That went on for 4 months before I was notified. Bad school. Such a bad school. She has since started high school with no friends, but she finally is out in public again and talking to me about her feelings. We had a dog too, but we needed to give it away after only a first year of being a first-time dog owner. I realized a husky was not a good mix, and my kids were scared of her high energy. OP,
Yep.
we're going through animals too quickly.
Yep.
We have too many animals.
Um,
We should not be adopting a dog and then getting rid of it, adopting a cat, then getting rid of it.
Yeah.
The solution should not be to get her more animals every time something terrible happens.
Well, it worked for Snow White.
Yeah, but those were like free range.
So get free range animals.
Yeah.
Move to the woods where at any point your blind daughter can be
Snow
know,
White.
talking or singing to animals.
That's true. I have been married for 7 years and recently divorced and gotten into a new relationship. They live with us and now come to visit or take the kids out to events around town. We've had to let go of a lot of things and grow in ways I could not expect. She has a very specific blindness that is genetic and will not ever get better or worse. But all that said is the main causes I could think of where I have been the only stable person in her life. Now to the cat.
That is a lot of backstory there.
Yeah. A lot of instability in this poor young girl's life.
All right. So, cat's going to come in. It's going to love lasagna.
Yeah.
It's going to be orange
Hates Mondays.
and hates Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm hoping this cat does
Yeah. And we can't just get rid of the cat.
because it hates Mondays.
You know, you can't do that.
Just feed it lasagna. It'll be
And it'll be
fine.
happy. The cat is now 1 year and 3 months old. Her name is Baby. Baby. My daughter's birthday is in September.
Sorry. I was just thinking of like a Baby Driver edit.
I also was thinking of a Baby Driver ever edit. That's so funny.
We probably sold the same one.
Probably. It's like,
What happened to that guy?
Baby?
Or the Ansel.
Oh, he got in like, there was some sort of scandal.
Oh. Is he still acting?
I don't know.
I saw him in one Hulu show that
There
looked
was a
pretty
pretty
good.
big scandal.
Pretty big?
I don't know.
Like you know about it?
I heard about it.
I'll
I don't
look
remember
it up.
exactly what happened.
He was such a good actor. I liked him in West Side Story too.
Yeah.
But now he's probably done something horrible and I can't like him.
Yeah, it's tough. Actors just stop doing that stuff. So it was the perfect time to get a small kitten. So I thought. This cat was so small and cute to start with. Since she has gotten bigger, more and more issues have been coming my way. I cannot cook without her coming in and meowing. Normal, I know, but that is where normal ends with this cat. I have had more than 10 cats in my lifetime. She will jump on the stove while I'm cooking to try and steal food. Yes, she has a food dispenser and it is always full. Saw food? Yes, every day for that too. She runs outside, and when I say she's fast, I mean I cannot catch her at all. She does not want to be picked up or cuddled or really anything to do with humans. She has started digging in my trash, the small bins around the house that do not have lids, and knocking them over to find food. She has started stealing food off the counters while I'm trying to make school lunches. There are no cafeteria lunches here. I have to make all 5 lunches for the kids every day. She got pregnant and now has 5 kittens in the last 3 months. OP, why didn't we have her spayed?
Yeah.
The thing is, when you get a cat, you really have to make sure that you're fully focused on, like, you know, working on the connection between humans, like getting it, what's the word? Used to humans? That's not the word I'm looking.
Domesticated.
Well, just like you want them to be friendly and stuff. So you want to make sure that they're comfortable around humans and that they're used to them. And you're constantly like introducing new stuff to them so that they get kind of desensitized.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't seem like there was a lot of that here.
No.
And also, we didn't spay them. Why didn't we do that?
I think when I was like 3 or something, I had a cat, and the cat loved me and let it, like, dude, I was not like horrible to it, but I'd like tug on its ears, tug on them and everything.
No.
And the cat loved me and just didn't care.
Oh, okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, it was just like my best friend,
It's
apparently.
like, that's okay. Ow. Oh, I don't mind. Ow. Yeah, keep doing it.
It never bit me or anything. It knew I was
that's
a
nice.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
I wish I had those memories. The other memory that I had was a cat scratched me once, and I didn't like cats after that.
I still have a cat
From
scratch.
what?
A cat scratching me.
Which one?
This was when I was 10.
Oh, that's what that's from?
Yeah, it's from a cat.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Not that much of an issue to me. The kittens are awesome and starting on soft food and use the litter box, unlike their mom. Yes, this was a farm cat I got for free, and I will be giving away our kittens for free. It is the 3rd time one of my cats, out of the 10 or so I have had since I was 15, have given birth. I know how to handle kittens and mamas usually. This cat has me stumped, though. She'll pee on any towel on the ground, so I tell my kids, please pick them up. I got rid of my bath mats and now have a stone bath mat. Did that stop her from using it as a litter box? Nope. Any small article of clothing is a target for her. No clothes on the floor. She'll pee or poo besides the toilet on the floor. I need to keep all doors closed and not let her in rooms, but with 5 kids, they do not all listen so well. I am one person with already a lot on my plate. I'm growing to hate baby. I wake up in the morning at 7 a.m. to start my day for 20 minutes before I wake kids, and the first thing I need to do is clean baby's mess. I have 3 litter boxes, scooped every 2 or 3 days, and completely dumped and cleaned every week before trash day. I have never had a cat like this before. No, I have never fixed any of my animals. I believe nature is nature, as I am Native American. I know it would be wrong to give away this cat or drop it at a shelter, but I am at my end. Social services have been in my home since I got her, as a teacher heard my kid complaining about her floor too. Yes, the kid that I tell not to leave towels on the floor and does not seem to care complained a lot about the cat and smell. I get it, she's 13.
Okay. Well, okay, it makes sense about the animal thing.
Yeah, but I don't know, you can't really complain about them getting pregnant. I guess you weren't really, but...
You were explaining what was happening.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just going to say it. I have a different relationship with animals growing up than everyone else does.
Yeah.
But if you believe that, you know, nature should be nature and you don't want to spay your cats, then the cat should live outside.
Low key, yeah. Which I don't believe, you know, I don't think that cats should be outside just because of like ecosystem things. But I feel like that would be in line with what OP wants, you know?
You got a cat.
Like I'm surprised that OP doesn't have an outside cat.
Yeah. And like if you know, you don't have the accessibility to live in a house or like you live in an apartment and it has to stay inside. But like, which makes sense with you being Native American that you think this way. But like, if I have a dog and a bunch of goats, it's going to stay out with the goats because that's its job.
Yeah.
To take care of the goats.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that you should maybe get less animals.
That would probably help.
I even asked my daughter if she would prefer to keep one of her kittens instead. She has not wanted to answer me. And I know it's because my daughter is attached after she's committed. She doesn't like to change or replace anyone. My daughter is blind, so she also does not clean up after herself the best. And this cat is eating her food without her knowing or stopping her, then vomiting places. I already have to clean after 5 kids and left my ex-spouse because of the lack of them helping with the house too, and other things. This is the cat my ex-spouse recommended, picked up, and brought to us. I feel I have replaced one extreme with another. I am struggling to keep my house clean and my sanity, but I need solutions. I also feel if I did get my female cat spayed, it would not change her behavior too much because she loves running outside. Oh, so she is an outside cat.
Okay. We guess must have not like saw that. Sorry.
Well, no, we're just finding this out.
Oh,
now.
we're just finding this out. Okay, so we're not idiots. Great.
No. And sunbathing and doing her own thing. I hate my independent mother cat with a passion. but do not want to upset or hurt my very emotional and traumatized teenager. I know it was my choice to bring this cat into my home, but she doesn't seem to listen or care about anything, and I have trained many cats fine. I do recognize this is her cat, not mine, even though she's young and I knew she could not take care of it the way an adult would. I just did not realize what would be on my plate. But I hope you guys realize that you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Simple. This is the solution here. Cats go crazy on the internet. No matter, what you do, they make money. That's what they do. Get them a little GoPro vest.
Yeah.
Have them go out and about, wrecking stuff, doing whatever. You chasing them.
People love that.
People love that stuff. And dude, if it's out getting pound-towned, I know it sounds weird, but I've seen edits of cats going to Pound Town and stuff like that. Like small, it's like this, and then it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, you could just learn how to edit.
Monetize your cat.
Yes, learn how to edit, learn how to get the footage. And if you're getting millions of hits and probably getting a couple $100, all this cleaning stuff's probably not gonna matter. Probably be like, oh great, it's making me money. It can do whatever now.
Yeah. Alternatively, you have to have a conversation with your daughter who is in high school, so she's old enough. And say, hey, I cannot take care of, I know this is your cat, so either we need to find ways that work for you to work with your disability where you can help take care of the cat, or unfortunately we're going to have to find a home for this cat. Yeah, but don't send it back to the shelter. Let's try and find another home.
I agree. Or let it live outside.
I mean, it already is. But there's a little bit left. I am in therapy and my therapist told me to focus on my bigger issues for now, like my relationships, parenting, and grief. So am I the a-hole if I give this cat away? Should I have asked her to choose between her cat or a kitten? Should I tell her I cannot keep it anymore? Is it too much for me? Do I ask her if she wants to choose who baby goes to? Do I keep her and bite my tongue? Do I pretend she ran away? Joking, I cannot do that to my kid, no matter how much I hate this cat.
Get a new cat.
I think we don't get a new. They already have cats. I think that we talk to your daughter.
Oh, baby's a little different. Just make sure that it has the same texture. Doesn't really matter about the color of the cat. Just make sure it's the same texture.
Dang. Wow, brutal. I mean, yeah, I guess you don't get to pet that cat a lot because she doesn't like humans. I think you need to have a conversation with your teenage daughter who's in high school. She's old enough. Tell her what's going on. And then we don't get any more cats. Or you spay her, which I know you said now that you're thinking about, but you don't think that it'll change her behavior. I think it will change her behavior. It usually does. But you got either way, be honest with your daughter.
Yeah, dude, this is a part of life.
Mm-hmm. But that's the end of that story, folks. I finally snapped at my partner for ignoring me for months.
Well, why you ignoring?
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit. For context, I, 25 female, and my partner, 36 male, have a son, 8 months. I am a stay-at-home mom, but I have offered to get a job to help out more. By the way, this comes from emergency ad 4558, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Savannah.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, me and my partner have been together for 4 years, and we're friends for 2 years before that. Just want to go back to the ages. So OP was 21, and their partner was 32.
Oh.
Okay. He was really sweet and loving during our first few years. We do have an open relationship with some restrictions that both of us agreed upon, and we had been fine for a while. It doesn't seem like the best recipe.
I'm confused.
Things did not start happening until we were together for our first year. We never really had issues until about 1.5 years into our relationship. One of my friends, 27 female, became our roommate. She had a boyfriend at the time, but I noticed how my partner would look at her and how he constantly texted her when he barely texted me. Whenever we had spicy time, he would bring her up in the middle of it and talk about what he would want to do with her.
Whoa, 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 whoa. No. You don't do that. If I was having spicy sleep with someone and they were like, I really like this girl, I'd be like, why are you here? What?
If my partner was bringing up anyone else, unless it's, I don't know, a fictional character.
Yeah.
But why are we talking about other people? Fictional character. They're like, oh, you know what would be really great?
If Danny Phantom were here right now,
I love Danny Phantom.
right?
He's
And I'll
my-
say it every time.
My gosh, she was my childhood crush.
Same.
Now, to add more context, I am not open. I am polyamorous and do not jump for everyone I see. I have to know someone deeply for a while before anything else happens. I have not seen anyone else since before my son was born. I have not had the time or the want or the need to find someone else. A few months later, she and her boyfriend broke up, and my partner jumped the pew even more with talking to me about her each time. I finally had enough and stopped coming to bed with him until he was already passed out. I would just lay there watching TV. And that's when we go, oh, I think that's the end of that relationship. After a while, she started showing interest in me and my partner. He jumped at the occasion to get her to join us while I was still wary. He offered to at least try it for a few weeks with no label. That's crazy. So OP goes, I don't know if I want to do that. And he goes, okay, let's do it, but like we won't say we're doing it. Does that work?
But you're doing it.
I agreed. She eventually ghosted us, but only after she joined us during spicy time a couple of times. Fast forward to when I was pregnant with our son. Wait, this was before y'all got pregnant? You could have gotten out? That sucks. Another girl moved in with our friend and her boyfriend. They kind of just showed up with our friend and had a 2-year-old with them. So we did not tell them no. After a few months, she and her boyfriend broke up and the same thing started up with her. During spicy time, he would ask me to let him invite her in the middle of it, and he would not take no for an answer until I had already said no 5 times. Yeah, OP, this is like a very harmful relationship. And oftentimes when you have this large of an age gap, when he's known you since he was 30 and you were 19, there is a bit of a problematic power dynamic. Jump forward to when I was a few days from giving birth. I could not lay in bed because of pain, so I was sleeping in a recliner in the same room as my partner. He invited her in because she had her boyfriend and got into a fight. I was awake. He texted me and asked me if they could do things right there next to me.
This man? Oh. Could you just scoot over a little bit? We're just going to do stuff like
Yeah,
right.
do you mind if we just...
Do you mind? Honestly, could you like sit on
could
the
you just,
floor?
yeah, could you sit outside the room maybe
Okay,
best?
That's crazy to ask of someone who just had your child.
Yeah. I said no. But he kept begging until I finally had enough and said yes. So I was laying in my recliner listening to everything and I started crying.
Oh.
You're young and you've been with him since you were quite young as well. And you also have a baby. But I do want to give you some courage to say this is not okay. I do not deserve this. And I'm going to leave.
Even if you're in polyamorous or whatever, blah, 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 there's still like rules that you follow.
Yeah, and when your partner
like,
says
you know,
no-
communication has to be open at all times.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's just like, can I do this right next to you? Not include you. I just
Yeah.
want to do it right now, and you're just kind of here. So like,
And his tactic is, can I do it? No. Can I do it? No. Can I do it? No. Can I do it? Fine.
yeah,
That's not enthusiastic consent.
yeah. Oh God.
They never stopped until they were done. I tried explaining to him, but he passed out a few minutes later. A few weeks after I gave birth, he once again asked me during spicy time to invite her with us. I finally said yes, and he spent more time with her than me. I mostly just laid there half the time listening again. A few months later, they got kicked out because the stress was too much, and they were plotting to move out behind our backs anyway. Cut to these past few months, I am now a stay-at-home mom, and he works morning shift at a factory. Every day when he comes home, he says hi to me and our son, complains about work or the house, but does nothing to fix it. Then he goes outside to work on vehicles or the house, or he goes upstairs to sleep. I am up with our son from 7 a.m. until he goes to sleep around 8 p.m. I do not get a chance to go out with friends because I do not have many here. The ones I do have are busy with work and life. I finally had enough and told him nicely that when he gets home, it is his turn to be a parent. He agreed, but keeps doing the same thing. Now, if he's awake for a few hours, he begs me to come to bed and cuddle. But whenever I do, it's just for spicy time. And he brings up how girls at work offer things for rides home, and how he has debated taking them up on it, but does not want me mad. Please leave him.
Why is he even there?
Please
Why does
leave
he
him.
like? I don't understand what his game is. Like he wants to stay in this relationship.
I don't know.
Why? Like if you just want to go,
Hook up with other people. Do it. Leave me out of it.
obviously there's people who want to, is what he's saying.
I have
so
no idea
like
why.
just go with them. I don't know. I guess this person has your child. I think it's his.
Yeah.
That really hasn't been like specified, but I would think that it would be his. I don't know. It's just that's crazy.
Why he only brings this stuff up during spicy time, I have no idea. He refuses to let me ignore it and keeps asking until I say yes. At this point, I feel like I'm only around for spicy time and nothing more. All of this has taken a toll on me mentally, and I have let a lot build up. So this past week, he's been going out to work every day, then comes inside to call his kids. Sorry, he has other kids. What?
What is this guy's life? What are his choices? I mean, what is going on here?
Then goes back outside or passes out in bed. Meanwhile, I get stuck being the parent dealing with a screaming 8-month-old, taking care of the house, and trying to keep things calm with our roommates. This went on for weeks until I finally had enough. I yelled at him about it, and he flipped the script, pointing out how I disappear on my computer after our son goes to bed. For context, I do computer work as some income to help with buying things for our son. I do not make much at all. He went off on me about how he wants to spend more time together. I brought up the fact that he leaves me with our son every day, all day, and how that is the only time I get to unwind. He started pouting and acting like a victim. Fast forward to last night, we had a good morning. Everyone was smiling. My son was happy. My partner was actually in the house spending time with us. He went outside through the side door to get something. When he came back in, he did not close the door fully, and my cat Stitch got out. I have had him since he was a kitten. It is almost freezing temperatures, and his winter coat is not fully in. He still has not been found, and I am destroyed mentally. This cat had been my world before I was pregnant. He followed me everywhere and looked at me like I was his whole world. I started freaking out, and my partner just said, "That was me. Sometimes the side door doesn't close fully. You know this."
Is that your apology? What is that response? I mean, I hate this man. What?
I think what you gotta do is when he leaves the door open next time, you just
push
leave.
him out.
You just leave.
Yeah. Ugh, not the cat. Not another horrible animal story.
I gave him a look like, are you kidding me? He knew the door does not close right and did not think to double check. By the way, you should double check that we have more episodes, because we do, with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story, but yeah, my only advice is to leave this man. There is nothing redeeming.
You're not even getting anything out of
No.
it. Like, not that you need to get something out of it, but like, what positive things is he bringing to your life?
Zero.
Nothing.
Zero things.
Yeah, it's just, God, it's horrid. I can't. I'm gonna flip the table.
Flipping the table.
Why do they always
It's-
give me titanium?
He was nonchalant while I was having panic attacks and crying. At one point, I wrapped myself in a blanket and sat outside in the cold for hours waiting for any sign of my boy. My partner went to bed while everyone else was out looking for Stitch. He texted me asking if I was okay, and after I said no, he just casually continued the conversation like nothing was wrong. Wait, I'm sorry, he texted you, hey, are you okay? And you went no, and he's like, okay, can you pick up some milk?
He's like, I tried.
He's like,
so,
well,
this girl wants to come over. Can we do it in the bed or what?
is that okay? She said, I'm not okay. He said, okay, we'll be there. I do not know what to do. I love my partner, but I do not know how to handle this anymore. And I have emotionally shut down for months. So am I the a-hole for yelling at him about spending more time on his projects instead of with me and our son? Comment 1 says, the situation you described sounds incredibly difficult and overwhelming, especially with a young baby. It's completely understandable to feel stretched thin and deeply frustrated when it feels like your primary support isn't there for you or prioritizing the family's well-being. Navigating the demands of being a new parent is challenging enough without having to carry such a heavy emotional load and deal with a partner who seems to consistently disregard your feelings and needs. When you're constantly under stress, feeling unsupported, and your boundaries are repeatedly crossed, it can take a significant toll on your mental and emotional health, leading to a constant state of worry and exhaustion. Finding ways to manage that pervasive stress and the anxiety that often comes with it is really important for your own well-being and to be able to care for your son. Sometimes just learning some practical techniques to calm your mind and body can make a big difference in how you cope with daily pressures and regain a sense of control. If you're looking for some guidance on understanding anxiety, its common symptoms and practical ways to manage it, including techniques for deep breathing and how to handle intense moments of stress. There's a podcast. Good luck. And that's the end of that story.
No,
End this relationship.
Did they find Stitch, please?
Find Stitch, end this relationship. That's my advice.
Aw.
And good luck to you, OP, because this is a terrible, terrible situation.
Yeah, OP's one of us. Remember that.
Oh, OP, then you will hear this. You don't deserve this. I forgot that you were one of us. Your partner is taking advantage of the situation. I want to instill in you the strength to leave this. If you have any support system that you can reach out to, any friends, family.
Yeah.
There are also a lot of just nonprofits. If you feel like you don't have the money to leave, there are a lot of different shelters and places. But this
That's
is
what they're there
yeah.
for.
Yeah, this is what they're there for. But that is the end of that story. Good luck. I want to change my daughter's middle name because of my sister-in-law's remarks.
What are you going to change it to?
I met Adam in 2015. I was 20 and he was 22. I was in a dark place mentally. We tried dating, but I wasn't able to be a good partner. And after treating him less than ideal, we went our separate ways. Once the relationship ended, I realized I was the problem and had many issues after being in a bad relationship for almost 4 years prior. By the way, this comes from Sugaboo19, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. I decided to go to therapy and work on myself. Adam remained in the back of my mind, and I always thought he was the right person at the wrong time for me. Flash forward to December 2017. We accidentally crossed paths while out, and the spark was instantly there. I knew that if God or the universe was giving us another chance, I wasn't going to miss it. It turned out that Adam felt the same way about me during those years apart. We very quickly got into a serious relationship, and the rest is history. All the family I had met loved me and were ecstatic we were back together. Or so I thought. About 6 months into our relationship, I met his extended family that he doesn't see often. But his sister Lizzie lives close by. One aunt, Valerie in particular, was extremely snobby to me, but I brushed it off. This aunt lives about 2.5 hours away, but works 2 days a week at the same family business Adam works at. She would drive down and stay with a sister who lived close to the business. That sister passed away, so she was making the 2.5-hour drive twice a week. I knew that had to be hard, so I told Adam to offer our house to her. We have a guest room, and I knew it wasn't going to be a big deal for me. At first, she kindly declined, so I thought that was that. A few months later, she asked if the offer was still open, and we welcomed her into our home every week for a night so she didn't have to make the long drive. The first few times were kind of awkward, but we really only ever spent a few hours together at a family holiday gathering. Over time, we naturally became close. One night, she said, "I can't believe I ever let Lizzie try to alter my feelings towards you." I was truly taken aback because at this point, Lizzie and I were not close. But we'd message occasionally, and when we were together, we would have a good time. I didn't ask Valerie at the time to explain further. Eventually, that comment started eating at me, so I asked Adam. He said that when he told Lizzie we were getting back together, she was mad because I wasn't a good partner and never would be good enough for him. I thought, okay, I heard her brother, that's valid. But at the same time, he's the one choosing to get back with me, so it didn't fully make sense to me. I tried to drop it. Several months passed, and I found out I was pregnant.
Uh-oh.
We weren't married at the time, but his family isn't overly religious, so that wasn't an issue. When we told them, everyone was excited except Lizzie.
Oh, come on, Lizler. What are we doing?
Lizzie. She stormed off crying. This is something she does often every time the attention isn't on her. I was kind of confused, but I didn't follow her when Adam went to comfort her. I did, however, have to go to the bathroom, which was next to the room they were in. I did not intentionally eavesdrop, but once I heard what was said, I couldn't stop myself. I'm not white. I'm Italian, Asian, and Irish. I have tan, olive skin, dark hair, and dark eyes. My husband's family is predominantly white, so everyone else has blonde hair and blue eyes. His stepdad and his kids are Mexican, so when we're at family gatherings, we stand out. I'm not sure what was said before I went to the bathroom, but here's what I heard. "She's brown. What if your baby turns out to look like her?" I grew up in a very small country town where I was bullied for being brown. And this was an insecurity that I had worked on in therapy. But I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a sore spot.
Have y'all seen what kids are gonna look like in the future after all the race mixing?
Yes.
They look like beautiful, perfect angel babies.
Yeah.
Like the mock-up of like how the genetic melting pot is going to look in like 4 or 5 generations. They're all perfect.
It's just almost always a good thing to have, like, genetically to have kids with people who are very genetically different from you. I walked into the room to hear Adam defending me, telling her how I'm the most beautiful, kind-hearted person in the world and that he'd be lucky if our daughter looked like me. There was much more, but that was the gist. I just stood there. I couldn't come up with words. When Lizzie saw me, her face fell pale. I'm typically the firecracker and never back down from a fight, but this time I couldn't even speak. Adam grabbed my hand and we left. No goodbyes, no explanation, just left. I was silent on the drive home and he asked how much I heard. I told him enough. He apologized profusely. I knew it wasn't his fault, but I started to let her get to my head. This wasn't the first time there had been little comments about my race, but I'd always brushed it off. Lizzie is very much a pick-me girl. She wants all the attention and will go to great lengths to get it. I usually let Adam have his time with her. She lived 2.5 hours away, so I could handle her weird behavior for a few hours every month. Adam loves his sister. They had a fairly traumatic childhood, and she was all he had. I tried to look the other way at her odd and manipulative behavior. Other people see it. Their stepdad and stepgrandma can't stand her, but put up with her for the same reasons I do. There's much more she's done. That is what really broke my trust. I wouldn't really want her to be around my child at all if she's made that comment.
Yeah, that's something you get pressed immediately for and also receive immediate consequences for.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change a single thing about your kid based on this loser's thoughts.
I agree. Our daughter was born with fair skin, brown eyes, and brown hair. She's the most beautiful baby I've ever seen. She's now 6 and still just as beautiful. We named her Ava Brienne. I gave her the middle name after my younger cousin, who is a big part of my kid's life. Right after, I regretted not naming her Ava Ann. I think Ann flows much better with her first name and is my mom's middle name. I told Adam and he said we needed to make the decision while she was young if we're gonna change it. I had many complications after birth, which led to being in the hospital for almost 6 weeks. This caused extreme PPD. Changing her middle name was pushed to the back of my mind. A few years passed and the topic of her middle name came up. Adam told me he had to confess something. He told me Lizzie's middle name is Brienne. I froze. I felt sick and so angry. I asked him how could he let me name our daughter the same name as her without saying anything.
Well, it's not
her name.
It's not the same name.
His excuse was he forgot her middle name and only realized it after our daughter was born. Adam made it clear Ava wasn't named after her. He said he didn't know how to bring it up after my hospital stay and the PPD that followed. I believed him. I'm sure it was a tricky situation that he didn't really know how to handle. I'm still upset he waited almost 2 years to bring it up. We talked about changing her name again, and he said he would support my decision. That was that. The next day, I found out I was pregnant again. So I pushed the name change to the back of my mind again. Well, okay, again, at this point, it's too late. Flash forward a few more years. It's too late.
I disagree.
You think at like 7 years old, 6 or 7, you could just change?
I think at that point you have to ask the child.
Yeah, you're like, hey, can we change your middle name? We don't like it.
Because I was aware of my middle name pretty early and I
me
really
too.
liked mine.
Dude,
Yeah, I was aware.
My kid's middle name Dinosaur.
That's sick.
Yeah.
We now have 2 beautiful daughters. Our second daughter came out blonde-haired and blue-eyed. This prompted Lizzie to make jokes about Ava not being Adam. This was the final straw for me. She said I was overreacting and that it was a joke. Considering everything, I don't think she meant it as a joke. She often says hurtful things to people and when they react, convinces them it's a joke. Since that comment, Adam was also done. We've gone low contact. We only see her when necessary. She doesn't call, but never really has. Adam was mostly holding the relationship together. She's never been an aunt figure. She doesn't have kids and no maternal instinct. She never asks about them, calls them, or wants to see them. When Adam did call her, Ava would want to talk to her, but Lizzie would barely talk to her on the phone and complain until Adam took the phone back. This Thanksgiving, she went on a rant about how she and Adam aren't close anymore, and that he never calls, blah, blah, blah. She brought a new boyfriend over, so I assumed it was her way of showing him I'm the crazy one. Adam reminded her he is busy raising 2 kids and has his own life. She wouldn't stop. She continued saying she never even gets to see her babies, especially my first baby, the one who was named after me.
Yeah, which are not your babies.
Not your
Lizzie.
baby. Not named after you either.
Not your.
By the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Keep that low contact. My blood ran cold. Adam quickly snapped back. No, she wasn't, and you know it, she said in a dumb voice. Well, it's the same name as mine, so guilty until proven otherwise. I felt sick. My kids were right there. I couldn't go crazy like I wanted to. I tried to hold my composure, but Adam could clearly see I wasn't okay. So we left quickly. On the way home, I told him I was certain. I want to change her name and do it now. For the first time, Adam disagrees with me. We call her by her first and middle name often. He said she's 6, and it's different trying to change her name now. I agree. She's 6 years old. She already knows her middle name. You can't just be like, hey, little girl, we're changing your name. I want to agree, but the irrational part of me doesn't care. I want to make decisions that make my kids' lives better, not worse. I don't want to make an irrational decision that could negatively impact my daughter. Being told she's named after such a nasty human could affect her, even if it's not true. So would I be wrong if I changed her middle name now against what my husband thinks is right? Is this the right decision for Ava? I don't think it matters.
I don't know.
I think that you are like caught up on this like beef of like against a bad person who is racist, rightfully so. But I just don't think changing your daughter's middle name at 6 years old really
Not really
matters
gonna have
to
any
anyone but
tangible
you.
effect, you know?
No.
It's sort of like, I mean, if
Sort
the
of
name
like-
thing made any sense, it's like, man, there'd be a lot of people you'd have to keep tabs on.
Yeah.
Every Jeff on earth tabs on that guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
My husband's family turned against me, and now I'm afraid to face them.
Well, you gotta face them and stare them right in their face.
Some background, and sorry for how long this is. I, 32 female, have been with my husband, 35 male, for 17 years. Married for 10. Whew. We have 2 kids. He has a big family, 4 siblings, each married, each with kids. We generally get along pretty well. By the way, this comes from Brilliant Harry 3637, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, the cousins are all really close in age. We live fairly spread out, so seeing each other is less frequent, but we always tried. I'm usually the kind that will talk it out, have the fight, and address the elephant in the room. I've always been the spokesperson for my husband. Silence is not a path I have ever chosen. 18 months ago, the girls of the family all got together for a girls' weekend. It was lovely. We all got quite wasted, and I overshared some stuff about my marriage. I won't go into detail, but it involved bringing someone into the bedroom once to try swinging. They were shocked, but didn't say much, and the conversation very quickly moved on. 12 months ago, we had another girls' weekend, minus one sister. Something felt off about this one. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I felt like the 3 of them were standoffish towards me. 2 sister-in-law and mother-in-law. We all got wasted again and played games, the usual stuff. Later in the evening, others trickled to bed, and it was just me and 2 sister-in-law. They started asking about the event of my marriage I previously brought up and wanted more details. I said I don't want to talk about it. Then they started commenting about my marriage and saying, "Why aren't you happy in your marriage? Why do you need someone else there?" I tried to explain that this was an adult decision between my husband and me, and I didn't want to go into details. Wait. I just have to pause for a second. Did you tell your husband's siblings and mother about this? Is that what you're telling me?
Not a very good tactical release of information.
Why?
There was just a lull in the conversation.
Was it a slip of the tongue?
Why would you do that?
I don't know. There was an awkward silence. I didn't know what to say. I accidentally said we tried swinging, and it was weird. My bad.
Could have just farted.
That's crazy. Okay. They responded with comments about how he's too good for you. You don't put out enough. No wonder he wanted more. And then flipped the story to, you're too good for him. You should be enough. You need marriage counseling. I told them we had, in fact, gone through a rough patch the previous year and sought marriage counseling and graduated. The counselor gave us some good advice, and we felt better. And he said there was nothing else he could offer as we were in a good spot. My sister-in-law laughed and said, "Well, I wouldn't have graduated you. Your marriage is clearly effed."
Well, thanks.
Okay.
But also, you did
Are
this
they-
to yourself.
Yeah, I was about to say,
OP.
are they being a-holes? Yeah. Why would you ever bring that up to his siblings?
You gave him like a bazooka.
Like,
for, like,
why would you
ammunition.
ever bring that up to his family members?
You're like, if you want, hey, you guys want to use something against me? Here you go. Here's a missile.
They moved to a different topic. This time it was our finances. They commented about how I was complaining about the price of daycare. $10,000 a year per child. Jeez. Yet we just bought a camper van. I tried to explain how we manage our savings and work overtime to pay for holidays and toys, and they snapped at me saying, well, stop complaining when you have your own home and a camper and go away each year. Stop doing that and you'll be fine. Granted, it was probably a sore spot for them because we are in a better financial situation, but we worked hard to get here. I tried explaining to them what overtime looks like in our jobs. Nurses, 18-plus hour shifts, night shifts, no sleep. And that started the next topic for them, my career. They started on about how I complained about money, but earlier in the night, I had said I wanted to go back to uni and either get a PhD or nurse practitioner. They asked, why would you bother spending all that money when you say you have none and you're tired and burnt out? So that she can make more.
You gotta spend money to make money sometimes, baby.
I tried explaining why it was an interest, and they cut me off saying, you're so defensive. We're giving you solutions, and you aren't hearing them. God, I should have been your therapist and your accountant. I would have solved your life in an hour. I just started crying at this point and stopped responding. Finally, they said the thing that hurt the most. I bet you're one of those nurses who treats their patients like crap, and as a part of a production line.
God.
I got up and went to bed after that. I went home the next day, said very short goodbyes, and left pretty early. I called my husband and just burst into tears telling him about the conversation. Meanwhile, the family group chat is talking about how great it was. Let's do it again, etc. I didn't reply or say anything. 3 days later, mother-in-law calls my husband and says she needs to talk to him about my behavior that night. She said I was rude, condescending, and trash-talked my husband about not putting the bins out. She said something to the tune of, she thinks you're a delinquent and doesn't speak very nicely about you behind your back. My husband laughed and said, you don't think I know about the bins? That's our joke. If she has something serious to say, she says it to me and only me. Stop making mountains out of molehills.
Yeah, also, the things that y'all said were so much worse.
Mother-in-law continued to say my behavior was poor, and husband asked for examples. She finally gave one, and it was a comment I made on the night, pick a card B, during a game. She told husband I needed to apologize, and all the girls agreed I had poor behavior and didn't appreciate the silent treatment I was giving them after the weekend by not talking in the group chat. Husband then told mother-in-law that 2 of those girls made awful commentary about our lives that we didn't appreciate, and we're taking a step back and we'll talk about it when we want to. I called mother-in-law after this to apologize for my comments toward her. She spoke a bit about how she thought we had a good relationship, and I can tell her anything, including what was said because the other girls have no idea what happened. I don't trust her, man.
I don't trust that.
I don't trust her.
She just
I don't
like,
trust that.
she said,
she's looking for
more.
ammo.
Yeah, she's like, more ammunition, please. We're running low.
Yes.
I don't trust this girl. You gotta be wary. I told her I didn't want to and left it at that. Shortly after the phone call, sister-in-law texted and asked if I wanted to talk. I replied, no thank you. She responded with, I thought we were having an adult conversation. If you felt it was different, that's on you. I didn't reply. I suspect mother-in-law went straight to sister-in-law after our call to gossip. I don't appreciate that. Over the next few weeks, other family members started making comments about, so is OP going to comment on this family plan? OP's being very quiet. Maybe we should have a family meeting for everyone to share their opinions on the night in question. I deleted the messenger app so I wouldn't get notifications, but didn't leave the group. Husband remains silent. Finally, 4 family members left the group chat without saying anything. We suspect they started another chat without us. They also deleted us off of social media. After 2 weeks, things got very heated when mother-in-law called husband and told him this was getting ridiculous. The girls need to talk it out and get over it. Husband said no. We were sick of the rudeness and hurtful comments. He told his mom how hurt we were, and it just didn't seem to register with mother-in-law. They went back and forth for a bit, and husband eventually said we would be taking time away from the family. Mother-in-law got very upset and accused us of withholding her grandchildren and depriving them of their cousins. She also said something about choosing sides and that this was his family. Husband said his kids and his wife are his priority. Husband said we would not be going to any gatherings where we feel like outsiders. For 6 months, we didn't hear from them. I still reminded husband to text family for their birthdays, Mother's Day, etc. Mother-in-law called husband and said she wanted to meet up with just husband because they want to know your thoughts without OP telling you what to say. Ironically, I hadn't told him what to say once. They met up. Husband cried at his mom and told her how hurt we were by the brutal comments and that while we will come to Christmas, we will not be going out of our way for anything else. Mother-in-law essentially told him it was time to get over it. Husband said, no, this is a pattern behavior by certain family members, and he's had enough. It's now been 12 months since we've seen or spoken to most of the family, and I feel like it's my fault. If I had just ignored the initial comments, this wouldn't have spiraled so badly. No.
It would have continued.
My only critique on anything that you've done is the oversharing originally. Didn't need to tell them that. But I think that they seem like the type of people that would have found something to complain about.
Yeah, they would scavenge for anything. And unfortunately, you gave them the ammo. You never really give ammo to your in-laws.
Yeah, you gotta keep some stuff close to the vest.
I know you were a little crunky, but yeah, I think it's just like you don't need to overshare with specific people.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, these aren't the type of people, like, even if you held your tongue, they would have gotten
They would have gotten something. Eventually. And even when we said to mother-in-law we were hurting, it was nasty comments. Mother-in-law didn't seem to care or understand how bad it was. Thanks for reading this far. And there is an update. Any thoughts?
Now you know not to unload. You got a little too loaded and you unloaded.
Yeah, just can't. You gotta be careful, girl. Gotta be careful.
Yeah, but good on your husband.
Yeah, I'm glad he's
stand
standing
up.
up.
Yeah.
Glad he's hopefully continues to do that. And you just limit contact with these people. Update 3 days later, which is much sooner than I thought. Mother-in-law spent some time with our kids last week. I didn't add it to the post because it didn't feel significant, but now it does. It was fine. Kids had a good time. She made some small comments about parenting, but nothing that I couldn't handle. I read everyone's replies and husband found the thread. He agreed with most of the comments, appreciated alternate points of view, and loved being called Giga Chad. After this, I realized I wanted more boundaries with Christmas, mostly participating in the family games. Husband asked his sister, who is organizing and has been very Switzerland throughout this, about boundaries, and she was very happy to accommodate. No issues there. I got a call from mother-in-law today out of the blue. I answered without hesitating because I thought she was hurt or forgot to tell me something when she saw the kids. I said, "Is everything okay?" She said, "No, we need to have this talk." I told her I was at work and it was a bad time. Can I call her back in an hour? She wasn't happy but said, okay. I got a bad vibe, started to go into panic mode, but pulled myself together because I was in public. I messaged husband and asked him to call and get a heads up on the topic so I could prepare responses and gray rock techniques. She told husband she was going to ask me to talk it out with sister-in-laws before Christmas. I thought out responses, mostly, I don't wish to discuss this. I won't be criticized again. I feel this is an ambush. I'm walking away. I also said to husband that I think it's time to write an email and share exactly what was said, how we felt, and what was said after. Husband still doesn't like this idea. I got home, and we called mother-in-law together. I held his hand, counted to 10 before responding, and used my prepared blanket statements. Mother-in-law told me that if you don't apologize and talk this out before Christmas, the boys, brother-in-laws, will get involved and it'll get ugly.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. That was weird.
Is that a threat?
The boys will get
The
involved?
boys will get involved.
You threatening?
What
me,
is this,
mother-in-law?
snatch?
I
Yeah.
said I won't be discussing this with people who disrespect me. Mother-in-law told me it's unfair for the other girls to now understand what happened, why I am upset, and that I hurt them too. I don't care.
Oh my gosh,
I
they're
don't
victimizing.
care.
Oh my gosh.
She also said I need to apologize for trash talking them all over social media. I shared memes and some lyrics to my stories for some time, and only once did I say something about fake family. I don't know if we need to do that.
I was gonna say we've said it these are the type of people who will get anything. You sneeze in
Yeah.
their direction, they'll be like, all right, she sneezed in our direction, she hates us.
Personally, I would not have brought this onto social media. I think, OP, you have a history of oversharing your information. Ironic that they saw this when they all deleted me, but mother-in-law. But hey, they never gossiped about me, right? I got quite heightened. My tone got shaky, and I tried to reiterate, I don't feel safe. I don't trust them, and I don't want to do this. Mother-in-law asked if I wanted to be part of the family. I needed to do this. And then said, so you don't want to be part of this family? I said, I don't want to be around people who disrespect me. She twisted my words again and said, well, then you're saying you don't want to be part of this family. Because we are people who will disrespect you.
And that's
And
family.
you just have to get used to that.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to tolerate that disrespect.
That's what this family does. That's the family
That's what
mantra.
family is.
Disrespect each other.
She kept cutting me off when I started a sentence, and at this point, I cried, said to my husband, I can't continue this conversation, and walked out. Husband stayed on the phone. I heard him saying, no, I'm not choosing sides. Actually, I am, and it's my family, her, the kids, and me, not you and my extended family. But then I heard him say, it's okay, Mom, I'll talk to her, I love you too, and that felt a little undermining. Choose a side, dude. You keep flip-flopping. By the way, you can choose to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
What a hot mess.
Oh, it keeps getting worse and worse. I think you just need to not post anything on social media.
Yeah, I
Tell
second
your
that.
husband to handle it. Say, I don't really want to see them right now. Maybe we can work it out later.
I think we need to pour any gasoline on the fire.
Yeah, no more gasoline on there. It's already too hot.
Stop giving them ammunition.
You're just an ammo and gasoline ammunition factory. You're
Yeah,
a
man.
one-stop shop Mad Max economy.
So true. Yeah, I think your husband should handle all conversations with his family from this point.
Yeah.
It ain't going well.
And they're just going to take every time. They're just going to take it personally, and they're going to
Yeah,
flip it
man.
around you. So you know what they're going to do.
Stop giving them anything.
You're giving them ammo, you're throwing gas, and you've got waterworks coming out the eyes because you'd be crying.
Yeah.
So you get this Mad Max economy out of my face.
Get out of here. I don't want to see you around these parts ever again. But there is a little bit left. I went into panic attack mode after this. Started writing an email, which was mostly this thread, but with names and added more details. Who said what, how we felt, and when and why we stepped back. It was a little dramatic. I also wrote some pretty snarky, I'm sorry I was a doormat for 17 years. I'm sorry I'm not good enough for the perfect family. And thank you for helping me see what you truly think of me. And thank you for showing me what kind of people you are. Don't send that.
Nah,
Don't do that.
That's,
Don't
again, that's more
send that.
ammo. That was more
Stop.
ammo.
More.
Stop.
And guess what? They're going to read it and not give a damn.
Yeah.
I sent the email to husband. I also told him that in my pit of anxiety, I'm considering divorce because at least it'll finally end.
What?
Rash decision, won't actually do it. I love him. I'll never do better than him. But I can't keep being the wedge. This isn't the first time he's been asked to choose between us.
Oh my God.
I can't keep feeling this way. I've never asked him to choose me. I just want him happy.
Then don't ever
Stop.
Don't do
threaten
that.
divorce.
Stop.
I would divorce you for that.
Stop.
I hate that so much.
He's desperately texting, saying, please, I'll find a solution. Just hang on. There isn't
Yeah,
one.
he's desperately texting you because you said you were thinking about divorcing him over his
Hold
family.
on,
Also,
girl.
from the most part of this story that we've gotten, he is stood by you and he's
Yeah.
defended you. I think he's, again, trying to be neutral because that is his family, but he's stood up to them countless times. Why would you even put that, even if it's a joke, don't even say that to your partner, like, divorce. Because now it's going to be in his brain, and, oh, man.
So my next question is, am I overreacting? I feel like she threatened me. And this feeling of anxiety and panic is just so dark. I think you need to go to a therapist right now. Because I think that you are in this little anxiety pit. And I think that you are overthinking things. And I think you're right to be heard about what they're saying about you. But I think we've been oversharing. I think we've been overthinking. And I think we just need to cool down, take a minute and think. Talk to your husband, work out a game plan, stop talking to his family. He's the go-between, and go from there.
Yeah. Come on.
Come on.
Come on. What are we doing?
But that is the end of that story and the end of this episode. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And see you tomorrow.